Guys, what's up? Welcome in. We are kind of simultaneously joining a draft, but maybe is there an announcement, Peter? Did I miss something? Um,
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting
um,
any minute.
yeah, anyway, listen, we're live for the drafts, Browns Film Breakdown. Thanks for joining us. Happy to have all of you here. It does seem like there's a distinct chance for some very early chaos. We have seen a lot of rumors swirling. We have seen tweets from Jay Glazer that has connected the Browns to moving down seriously. Diana Rossini's kind of been on it all day. So two people with serious sources that have been on it, but pretty much every insider's been hinting at it. And it does feel like, the Browns are going to be open to the idea of moving down here. I think we thought as recently as yesterday, maybe the day before, I don't know, that they were pretty set on Travis Hunter. Maybe that still is the outcome as we watch live here, but it feels like that door is open for more than just Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Now, I bet the odds, if I was a gambling man, I don't have those in front of me, Peter, but it would be a scenario where they are higher on the board of moving out of this pick. So here we are, man. New draft. I've got my handy dandy gallon of water to help me get through talking for a while. I am under the weather, to say the least. So do my best. We'll do the best we can. But
That's all
um,
Andrew Barry's going to do too.
it is.
He's just going to do the best he can.
It feels like we are in for quite an evening with this scenario. So at minimum, we will be live as long as I can be here. And at least the early portions of this, and we'll try to be live through the night. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to get interesting quickly. So usually what I have seen is that the last few second overall selections have happened around like 8:25-ish. So we got like 20 minutes until it actually gets to the Browns pick. The formality of Cam Ward is it. But where do you sit on moving down, Peter? What's your thought on it? Because it feels a little imminent.
Do you think it's imminent? Like, what you tell me what your thoughts are. I don't know. You've talked. I mean, you haven't potted since all of this has happened, and people care less about what I think. That's for sure.
I mean, I'm taking Travis Hunter. I understand the appeal of moving down and gathering picks will always be something that I think people want to believe is a pathway that can lead to, better roster construction. But I think when you look at some of the highest spots, some of these players, like the Browns don't have enough blue chip. Oh, Goodell's on a bike. The Browns don't have enough blue chip players. And I think when you have the opportunity to take Hunter, or even if you were a believer of Abdul Carter, it just makes a lot of sense to me to stay and make that pick right now. But the belief being that you could get out of this pick, get out of the first round with still a top 5 pick and maybe a first round pick. I'm just amazed by how many bikes are coming on the I understand the Packers connection to the players riding bikes around their facility and whatnot. But yeah, I wouldn't do it. But the appeal here is that you get another set of first rounders for next year to go get a quarterback. If you think there's a better quarterback in the next year, I just don't like it. I don't think that, like, even if there is, what are the odds that there's going to be a team with the first overall pick who doesn't need one? And it's like, or at least the meaningful picks to go up to get one. There's too many unknown variables to me, Peter, to feel comfortable with doing that. And also, the Jags could end up with Travis Hunter in a better team this year, new coach, a pretty good team, and that picks in like the Atlanta Falcons, Julio Jones range the next year, which is like 25th. And it's like, what are we doing? I just don't like it. I don't like it. I think you should sit still and take Hunter. We haven't seen a trade announced,
Is
but
that Lil Wayne on a bike?
that was Lil Wayne on a bike. There's a bunch of it
Couldn't
looks
get
like
him in the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans, but we got him in
No,
Green Bay.
they got him in Green Bay. He
I,
is a Packers fan, right? Isn't that a thing? I thought I
I,
heard that.
I believe you. I would listen. I will say, first things first. Roger Goodell, nice shoes. Gotta give the man some credit.
Yep.
You make 30 mil, 40 mil a year, you better have some nice white fresh kicks like that. All right, this is the last second though we can kind of talk in hyperbole. And here's the thing that I would say about crazy season as it comes to an end. I'm having a hard time squaring. I'm just having a hard time squaring. Is this how Andrew Barry does business? Like, do you think Andrew Berry does business by letting Jay Glazer and Diana Rossini just lay out what's going to happen? Unless he's just trying to leverage the shit out of the fucking teenager who runs the Jaguars right now, and he's just playing him like a
Yeah,
fiddle.
that's a new GM, young GM,
Who,
right? So
yeah, he's like graduated high school and he's decided to take a gap year by becoming the Jaguars general manager.
good for
So,
him.
um, he looks honestly, he looks like, do you remember in the 2010s when that kid got famous for doing like the backpack kid dance? What was that
That's
dance he
right.
would do?
Yeah,
It was like
yep,
this.
yep.
What was that called?
I don't remember it, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, backpack kid is now the general manager
That's right.
of
James
the Jaguars.
Gladstone, young fella, still in his late 20s. That's right.
Well, and now he's just old enough to serve in the Senate and be the Jaguars GM. I don't know. I mean, I like the Trevor Lawrence talk. I mean, I think my bet right now is
Listen, they're
still
not
Kevin
making that trade.
Costner
They're not
with the
making the
sticky
trade.
note.
Right,
Travis
right,
Hunter, no
right,
matter
right.
what.
I hope that's what's happening. They're not making that trade to go get Travis Hunter as Scott joins us. They're not going up to get Hunter if you don't have Trevor Lawrence there to throw him the ball. It would just be the most counterproductive thing possible. What's up, Scott? So I don't envision a world where the outcome here is like, hey, we're going to give you back Trevor Lawrence and go into this year with with a quarterback, no quarterback in place, and then give up something massive to go. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. So Glazer did mention it's in place. I haven't seen anyone officially. Jordan Schultz just tweeted, there's a lot of ifs right now, but if the Browns do make a trade, the belief is they're targeting the trenches, offensive or defensive line. We'll see. There's nothing concrete right now. Where are you on trading out, Scott? I know you liked the trade earlier. We could certainly hit on that trade. You kind of talked about how much Andrew Berry despises 7th round picks. I like the move earlier today, which gets the Browns from 216, 255, and 176 up to 166. I think they win, or 163, and then a 2027 fifth rounder as well. I mean, I like getting those picks. So I have no problem with it because those picks 200 plus are just like time you could be spending talking to UDFAs and various other things like that. So I like it. Did you feel like that was a pretty on brand move?
Definitely. Yeah. I guess I'm a little surprised that it happened so early. Like that was the only thing that surprised me about it. I think that that was a ton of, or they had a ton of, 6 rounders, which is just unusual anyway, but yeah, ditching the 7th.
Does it feel, let me ask you this.
That makes sense.
Does that feel like a trade that's made before a trade that's meant to get pick 160 something, and that then becomes the piece of like, we'll give you 2 and 166 or whatever, 163, and then you get back on the, I mean, it's a weird trade to happen before the draft, that it's like if the Jags were like, hey, the missing piece of this trade is we need a pick a little earlier than 176, then it makes a little bit of sense to me, like why they would try to move up. So I don't know. That's the vibe I have. It is a trade before a trade. It could be a trade here at 2. It could be a trade at 33 to move up a little. I don't know. But just on the outside looking in, it feels like that deal before the board is set, before you know any players. I understand his 7th round pick disdain, but it does smell a little bit like that.
No, that seems to have some logic behind it. Like I think a 5th or whatever they moved up to is obviously more appealing for other teams than, okay, we're gonna give you 255 or whatever it was in the 7th there, and then a 6, maybe 2-6. Like I don't know how much other teams value 7th round picks. I don't think it's very high. So I think if you can move a couple of those late picks to like a late mid-round pick, and then swing it again, like that makes sense. It gives you a little bit more firepower there. I mean, this whole thing, like this smoke coming out here at 2. I mean, if it happens, I can't wait to see what the haul is. I mean, because to get out of there at 2, you're gonna have to get a lot. And I mean, AB and all the guys there have all the charts, an in-house chart, the Jimmy Johnson chart, whatever chart you're using. They got all of them, and they're going to make sure that it makes sense to give up a player, whether it was going to be Hunter or Carter, which it could still be. Obviously, there hasn't been a trade made yet, but if it's going to be, if you're getting out of there, you better get a lot coming back, and they'll make sure that they get what they think is proper compensation, no matter what what we think about it.
Right. So it looks like a lot of good points there. Jay Glazer did just tweet out, or he's talking on his radio show that he's hosting, and he said that basically the Browns and Jags have the parameters of a trade in place once Cam Ward is announced. So that's where it seems to be trending. All right. I'm not huge on it. I don't really like it. I don't like to crush things before
what
we
is
see
the
it.
haul that it would take for you to be less annoyed?
Well, I mean, it's not the Julio. Okay, so there's like the Will Anderson trade is a piece that people try to pull back of like, he went the Texans took Stroud, then came back up to 3 with Arizona. I think they got back the second round pick, and then they got a first and third the following year. This is only going from 5 to 2 in a 3-player draft. I don't know. Maybe the Jags are super desperate. I'm not sure what. I mean, at the minimum, it has to be that. At the minimum, it has to be that. But like,
at the minimum, it's give us your first round pick next year.
Yeah, it's got to be a 1 and a 3 next year and a second round pick this year. So like, what do they pick? 38, 37 this year. So yeah, I mean that's the minimum, but it's also not moving up for, going from 12 to 3. It's going from 5 to 2. I don't know, man. I am ready to be annoyed. The outcomes of this, which lead to me being annoyed, are pretty high. I would say I'm prepared to be really annoyed by this because I had fixated on the idea of what Travis Hunter could be for Cleveland, but it feels like this is moving quickly, hastily in a different direction. It says from Mary Kay, Browns in heated talks to trade down from 2 to the Jags to 5 when they're on the clock. I believe this will happen. I don't believe the Browns would trade Travis unless they get an extra first rounder in return. That's fine. I'd rather have New Orleans first rounder next year or so. I think the Jags have the pieces in place to be better next year. And it's like, if the Browns are decent next year or even a 500 team, like, okay, is a team that's sitting at 1 or 2 going to want picks 13, 17, and that's enough to go up to 1, and you're going to have to trade. It's I just am like, my mind's a little blown on the fact they're willing to do this. So I don't know. We're going to let it play out. Let it play out. Scott, I mean, am I talking crazy here? You've been in these. Tell me what you're at.
No, I think, I think saying like you need more than just a first next year, I think, yeah, it's got to be at least a first. And, theoretically you could say like first and second next year, first and third, whatever you want. But I mean, you're talking, for me, you need at least a first and no worse than a third next year on top of another, third, fourth this year. Like you need a lot of picks, and you need a lot of picks that are going to affect the team early. I don't think you're wrong. Like it's surprising that like it's happening so late in the process. I think, and I think it was like Rappaport yesterday I heard him saying that like the Jags was the first time I heard a rumbling of Jags Browns trade. And I don't know how true that or when it started, but like it started coming out yesterday,
well,
and like now the
Schefter broke it, so we got the deal.
Oh,
the Browns are trading 2 and a 4th round pick, 104, and a 6th round pick, 200. And they're getting back 5, 36, 126, and next year's first round pick. So there you go, man. They have moved off the Travis Hunter world. I'm rendered a little speechless, guys. I'm rendered speechless.
Well, We had a good time imagining what it would look like, and maybe all those Jags fans can come check out all the tape you did. All right, so
Yeah.
you objectively hate this?
I don't like it. I just don't feel like this Jacksonville team is in a place to compete. I don't feel good about that being a good pick. I just don't. If this was a team I knew was going to stink next year, I'd be better. I'd feel better.
I think that's fair. Like I think that's a fair point. You were saying when we did the mock draft stuff last night that what New Orleans, I think you're saying would have made sense. I don't know. It seems like they probably didn't want to trade down all the way to 9, which is not that far, but I think that kind of gets you out of the guaranteed space to like get one of the like few blue chipper prospects here this year. Because I mean, 5, if it's just 5 or 6 guys that are the blue chip players this year, like you're still in the range there potentially. But I mean, yeah, that's a big move. I think it's just going down to 5 even. That's a big move of giving up what you presumably were going to get with Hunter.
So he's gotten rid of all the 6th-round picks, basically. So those are all gone. It does look like, Jake, you are crying, even though I know you have pink eye, but it does feel also
Things are not well, man. I am struggling. Sorry, guys. Doing my best. Had a cough attack there a second ago. I'm trying to get quite simply just a video, like a photo of this trade posted so that we can all see it. But I'm struggling a little bit here, so bear with me a second.
I just don't think, even from what you just said, and I got you on the record for, this just isn't enough, it seems like.
No,
Like
I feel like I would have liked more than just a 1 next year.
I mean,
This is the deal so that we can see it in front of us. Let me see if I can reformat this a little bit to fit it a little better. But yeah, that's essentially the trade you're looking at here.
Giving up a 4th, I think, makes it a lot. Also.
Yeah, giving up 104. Like, wow. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. We know who the Jags are taking. We'll see if it works out long term.
I guess the question is now, despite your feelings, where is this instant analysis and what we'll be talking about for the next hour or so of like, what the hell are they going to do at 5? Because it doesn't look like Sanders. No one's picking him. Do you trade down a second time?
It's possible. The Bears might really want Ashton Genty at that spot. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hate the draft stuff in general with this move down. I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, the Patriots definitely would. Carter's not getting to them, so he's probably off to the Giants. Even though the Giants may end up with like a override button that puts them into the position to take Shador. The ownership takes Shador there, but like. This to me is just it's razor thin. Margins on this are thin. I think I'd like it more. It seems a little trivial, but like I do think I'd like it more if they weren't giving up 104 as well and they were getting something more back next year, a 3rd round or something more back in 26. But I think the biggest issue I have is I don't think the Jags are going to be bad. I guess anything can happen here, but I don't think the Jags are going to be bad. So, I think that's the biggest crux of my issue is like these feel like 2 teams kind of hovering in competitive spots, and it's never anything for certain on this. You got to take a stance, guys. I don't like it so much, and I would have rather just taken Travis Hunter at that spot, but there's getting a second round pick back is good. That's fine. But I just would have rather had Travis Hunter. But that's just me. It could end up working out. They've had the Julio version of this. Maybe this is a different version that ends up working out. I would love to be wrong on this one. So there you go.
It sucks that their division is ass. Like doesn't like it's like it's going to be hard for them to not finish second in their division without a significant injury. And they probably have at least a third. I guess they probably have a second place schedule. I don't know. They were no, they're schedule.
They're
last.
Yeah. No, last.
No, Titans.
They're Titans. Right. So third. Yeah.
Man.
A bit stunned, guys, to say the least. We'll see. To pick the next two picks for who's going to be there. Very interesting. So they have 5. They have 33, 36, 67, 94, 126.
The good news is they can't draft Deshaun Watson. So
yeah. True. I mean, I think the silver lining here is that it makes me feel like a trade back in is imminent when you have 2 picks so early in the second. I mean, I agree. I don't think it's enough. I would have liked another pick next year, but I think that they have a chance to move back in here and still have a high pick in the second. So you have to wait and see what they do. But I guess that's the silver lining I can think of quickly here.
All right. Well, Herb Street thinks they're the winner as I listen to the delayed ESPN feed.
Felt like they moved off of the the Cam Ward talk pretty quick.
Yeah.
The first pick didn't get much screen time in that
Honestly,
one.
Probably the quietest first round pick I can remember.
Yeah,
overall.
for all of that, it is pretty silent.
I mean, they didn't go to a commercial even in between 1 and 2. They're already showing 2.
All right, well, who do you want at 5 right now? F your feelings. Who do you want at 5?
Well, again, your list of top candidates for that spot. I mean, it's Abdul Carter at the top of the list, but he'll be gone in the next 2 picks. So it comes down to who will be on the board. It's one of the tackles, either Armand Membu, the kid from Missouri, or Will Campbell. Mason Graham will be on the board, and probably Ashton Genty will be on the board. So I would take Mason Graham of that group, but I also think that they could take a tackle there. Membu is 20 years old, on nearly 10 RAS score, really good tape at times. Would help solve a long-term tackle position. He played right tackle, though, so, whatever. Don't matter to me. Will Campbell's SEC challenge player, good player, shorter arms, which people are concerned about, but battle-tested out of LSU. So I think the leaning favorite right now is Mason Graham at 5, is everything I have come to understand. So I think Mason Graham's a very good football player. So I would certainly have no problem with taking him at 5, given the circumstances of what we have.
Talk about the drop off in excitement. My goodness, no matter how good of a player he is.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, this is also, keep in perspective. I know everybody goes back to the Julio Jones trade, but you got to recall they moved back to 24, 25. That's a pretty steep fall off 1 year. That's huge. Going back to 5 isn't crazy, but I don't know. That's where I'm at. I'm redo this Travis Hunter graphic I had made for the selection. I'll tell you that much right now.
Put it up. Let's see it.
We put together a really nice one here between Seth and I, and now we have to make a little alteration to that photo. So here we are.
Does anybody want Genty now that it looks like they might have a shot at him?
I don't think the Browns can afford to take him. I would like him. I guess to me it would be like this. They need to. Yeah, Travis is dancing on stage in a pink suit. That'd be fun. Using the Rich Hill chart, the Browns gave up 755 points of value and received 655 points this year, plus a 2026 first rounder next year. So that's adding the 32nd pick is worth 184 points. So this is value for Cleveland on paper if that pick is the worst pick in the first round next year. But that stuff doesn't matter to me as much.
I think what's also just sad is now it's like, do we have to root for Travis Hunter not to be good?
No,
That just
I'll root
like-
for Travis Hunter. I like him. Like him too much.
I don't think you have to root for him to not be good. I think you can just be upset with I'd rather be upset with the decision makers that pulled the trigger on that than the player who is super exciting.
Me too, man. Boy, oh boy. Never boring.
Well, a little boring because we could have had Travis Hunter.
No, they can't do that. It's not in their DNA.
Man,
that's a good point though. That the get off of Cam Ward immediately is just like, forget about that guy. My goodness, he waits all the time to be the first overall pick. He gets about 2 minutes on camera.
Yeah, you build your whole life to that moment, and it's just like
that's like the chip that'll be the chip on your shoulder.
So fast. Yeah, that's funny.
So it's got to be Abdul Carter here, but man,
yeah, the pick is in pretty quick. It's definitely Carter. All right. Yeah, the Jags. Yeah, so the Giants take Carter at 3. So stays on course. The Patriots pick is where it gets a little bit interesting. So we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Really.
That's what they say. That's what they say. What a bummer.
Peter Schrager says the phone lines are still open.
At 5. Yeah, I wonder what it would cost for someone to come up from like the Bears at 10. Okay. So let me do some searching here. Yeah, of the 2 tackles, I think I would prefer Membo personally. If they go the tackle route, we'll see which one's available. But I still think Mason Graham will end up being the pick if they sit at that spot. But we will see. Anybody outside of the names we've talked about, Scott, you'd be interested in? I guess if they fall to 10, we can entertain a little bit of that too. To be honest, you getting into Tet range or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
only if they go down further. Yeah, I mean if they go down further, but sticking at 5, I think it's. I think it's Graham or I mean I think I would very much want to have Genty in play if I'm at 5 now. But the tackle and the offensive tackles are a possibility. I mean, I would still think Graham, for if it was me, it'd be Graham or Genty. Would be much higher in my preference right now than one of the offensive tackles. But I mean, I can see them getting especially like Membo, like a young guy. You can see it.
How is this receiver class stacked compared to like recent years of receiver classes? I know the running back class is about as deep as it gets, but is the class?
I think it's average, like a C plus, B minus.
It's
group.
More like I think it's more like a overall like a B minus maybe at the lowest, because I think it's like a lot of quality like it's not necessarily like stars, but it's guys that are going to produce and be consistent players.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I mean, I think you're taking Tet at 10 if they were to go down that far. But other than that, like I would want to wait until closer to 20 to start having a run on receivers. I don't think there's that many that like are in that range of a high first round pick.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But I think like the class overall is it's better than what people might think, but there's definitely not as many stars as in years past.
Well, the prophecy before the draft seems to be working in that direction with Fran Duffy kind of tweeted that out too about the Mason Graham visiting the Browns.
Do you think
so all of those connections are living
Shador at 5?
I don't think so. No, I think they're more inclined to do that later.
And if they traded down again and drafted Shador at 10?
That's probably I mean, whatever, if they liked Dart or if they liked Milroe or if they liked Sanders, that is a more appropriate range, still a bit above where I would want to go, but it is a more appropriate range.
I'm just reframing this because I do think this is, I'm not trying to be optimistic, but I am thinking like if we would have talked.
I want to be clear. This trade might work out. This trade could work.
But hold on. But 6 weeks ago, if I'm like, we all feel pretty confident they're going for Shador Sanders. And now the night of the draft, they're going to pick up. They could potentially, if they traded down to 10 and then pick Sanders, they could have 2 first-round draft picks next year added, plus getting the guy everybody thought they were going to take it to. That, I'm not trying to frame it to like put rose-colored glasses on it, but that does feel a little bit different if you have that conversation a few weeks ago than the world that we're living in now. Because I think the thing about this draft, like, the NFL draft is like the whole kind of cinematic universe like shifts realities. Like we were, like 6 weeks ago, Sanders was like minus 150 to get drafted by the Browns, and Travis Hunter was like plus 1,000.
Yeah, no, there's the thing that I don't like on these nights is trying to speak in definitives about the outcome of the thing that happens. We are very haunted by the past here. So I understand the baggage. I understand craving one of the 3 players in a perceived 3-player draft. I'm also like, if it was my decision, I would rather have Travis Hunter in Cleveland. I don't think that they whiffed on the trade. I think it's like, some value they could have gotten a little bit more, but it's also a non-quarterback, which matters in the return on those move ups. And they do get something for next year that's pretty damn meaningful. So like, I don't think it's awful. I just would like, it's not a move I would have done. It's not a move I would have done. I'm not here saying it's the worst thing in the world, but I'm also being like realistic about how I felt about Travis Hunter being in Cleveland. I thought I had a chance to start working toward a strong turnaround this year. But again, they may have been playing that card up the whole time. Andrew Berry doing the whole, he could be Ohtani, he could be this, that. He might have been blowing smoke to get the Jags, who didn't have him in for a visit, to believe that he was this player. And maybe it worked, but maybe you're sitting here in 3 years, Travis Hunter's a 2-time Pro Bowler, one in All Pro, and you're sitting here like they could have had him. It was right there for the taking. So the thing that's hard about these, and I'm sure you guys would agree with me, is that this is just loaded with scar tissue in these drafts. So until we see one of these Browns trade downs bear fruit in a meaningful way, it's always going to be a failure. You guys agree with that? Like, that's the perception it's always going to have.
Yeah, but also like the same thing could have been true if we drafted Hunter. Like, I understand the hype is there and everything that you've said and laid out. But the same thing is, I would just argue, like, this is the problem about how we, I just don't think we can.
I don't think you're wrong for framing it that way. Like,
I'm not, but I'm not, like,
no.
like, we're not playing any football until September. So it's also like, and I think, he was exciting. I think it's cool. I don't know how much more of a stable or supportive organization Jacksonville is historically compared to Cleveland. I it's kind of almost the bigger like every year for Trevor Lawrence gets more intense. Obviously, Doug Peterson had a lot to do with that, but um, I don't know. I mean, they have a lot of talent, and Travis could be really good, but we don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I'm with you though. It sucks not to get like the coolest guy. That is a bummer. We can all pour one out for the thing that would have been fun, but also tears his ACL in mid-August in Berea, and then Pod's sad again too.
Yep. Yeah, this is gonna get interesting quick. I actually do think they're gonna move back a second time. If I'm being honest.
Then you know what? Then fuck it. I don't. Sorry, I'm swearing so much to all my Christian film breakdown fans out there, but screw it. Like, why not? If you're gonna do it, do it. And I'm like, do you hate Shador at 9? Do you hate or a 10?
I don't love it. This is kind of what Dave Brugler said the other day. It's okay to not love Shador Sanders as a prospect, but it's okay to I want them to take a quarterback they like, right? Like they if they were in love with any of them, they would have taken him second. We can all agree with that. But like, this is a spot where I don't think the value would match, so I don't love it there. But if they love that player and wanted to do it, okay, take a swing at quarterback. But I am of the belief that at this point, I think they're going to move back again. Like I really do. Never mind. They picked Mason Graham. So there you go. The prophecy was right. So anyway, sorry, Jordan Schultz tipped it. I shouldn't have tipped the pick, but it did happen. That's an insanely early pick. First of all, the TV hasn't even caught up. I saw this in the corner of my eye. I'm so sorry for this, guys. I really am. Like, the Patriots pick hasn't even been announced, but they have already put in this. Schultz has already done the 5th pick to the Browns. So yeah, I guess what we heard was, yeah, that's crazy. The dots are connected. So they went with a 5th overall defensive tackle. All right. How do you feel about it, Scott?
Will Campbell. All right. Will Campbell to New England. I think I'll stick with what I said before. It's a pretty letdown and excitement. I mean, I played D tackle. I love defensive linemen. I think that Graham will be a very good player. I mean, there's no doubt about the excitement level is definitely lower. And just all the talk of like, well, they need offense. Like, I mean, this move, I think, solidifies that these guys ain't going anywhere after this year, barring 0-17, 1-16. If they're confident enough to move down and go with a defensive tackle in the top 5, I think they must feel pretty stable and safe with their jobs. So there's that. I think he will be a good player. It would have been cool to have a guy like Hunter or even Carter. I mean, like, it would have been cool to have those guys, but you still get a quality play. Like, that is, one of you guys said it before, like, you still need to. You can be frustrated, but you still have to give the trade a chance to see what happens. There's a chance that he could become a Hall of Famer, and like, okay, you got that guy at 5, and then you might spin that first next year into Arch Manning, like whoever it is at quarterback then, like, if they don't go quarterback this year, like, so like, you got to give it time to breathe. But yeah, I mean, the gut reaction is like, well, this isn't as fun. But I mean, the other, like, the Schultz tip in that, I mean,
I feel like my theory is it's out there. It's been out there for like a couple hours now, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah, must have been.
The graphic was made and ready before the TV was even off the Abdul Carter decision. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, do you want to peek behind the curtain? Like, I mean,
give it to me. Yes, that's why we love you here, Scott. Come on.
So, all right, so Tennessee goes on the clock, like right at 8 or whenever the commissioner says the clock or the draft is open. Whenever Tennessee makes their pick, and assuming the trade was finalized before the pick was made, because like that was, if you look at the graphic, you always see that. So as soon as the league office gets the pick from Tennessee, Jacksonville immediately goes on the clock. And and like the way that these guys, if you watch the broadcast, how they always are like, they throw out like 2 names, and then like Daniel Jeremiah says, "Oh, I think it might be this guy here for this team," and that is the pick. Like every time, it's because they have the feed. Every NFL team gets a feed that's like a live broadcast with a live clock that is so much further ahead than the TV. So I mean, they're probably on to the Jets at this point, to be honest. Like if the Browns pick's already in, like they're probably already on through Vegas has already made their pick or coming down to the wire with their clock, and then the Jets will be on the clock. So like it just keeps moving, and the broadcast is always behind. But like in the building, like we get the live feed, and like so we'll see the picks as they come in like immediately. So there's no like, it's not like teams are waiting around to see who gets picked. Right. Schultz like just did this immediately. Like, I mean, come on, you gotta like, I guess you want to be first to the story, I guess, but like, damn, that's. Are you
saying the guy who tried to fight Ian Rappaport in his dad's Starbucks?
He felt comfortable in the surroundings.
Yeah,
I've been in. It's a nice Starbucks. There's a nice Starbucks there in the JW.
Well, when you're Jordan Schultz, every Starbucks is a nice Starbucks, I think.
Fair. Is AP wearing a T-shirt? Wow.
Well, what does this do to our defensive line room, Jake?
I mean, he's a really good football player. He's one of the few that I had in the blue chip criteria, so I don't hate it. I like the player. I think he's good. I think there's questions about how much he weighs, and is that going to be something he can get to 300 plus consistently?
Have a milkshake, buddy.
Yeah, well, this is the concern is like, is he able to play the 3-and-1? Is he hyper versatile? Let me put it this way. Is he an every down defensive tackle? Is kind of like where you start to have some questions about that. I think he's fine. I think he's going to be pretty good. I like him. Obviously Mike Hall, when he gets healthy, paired with him, you mix in all the other pieces. It's a pretty good defensive line. I mean, he's the second highest defensive line player I had graded after Abdul Carter. So I like him. I think he can be a nice NFL player. It's just a matter of if he's going to be good or great is the question. And I think there are traits there that could make him great, but we'll see. He sticks close to college, right? He'll be in Cleveland. So he's a hell of a disruptor.
He looks
really
a little
talented.
bit like if you made Superbad in 2025, like he's kind of what Jonah Hill would look like. He kind of looks like Jonah Hill and Danny McBride had a baby.
That's pretty accurate. He does have a baby face. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
I know that
with that facial hair is McBride. Yeah.
Yeah. Of that, like, I'm a Michigan fan, so I apologize to everyone in advance. You can take it out on me in the comments. He messed Ohio State up by himself basically this year.
Yeah.
Like,
he's extremely talented.
He's super good at football.
Yeah.
And also, like, I know the offense is bad, and the offense was literally worst of the century. But I don't know, getting Jim Schwartz's defense maybe back closer to where it was 2 years ago. Miles staying healthy, and this defensive line is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, the hope here is that. I mean, he's got to be really good, So if he's the guy who we think he could be, then, there's a chance that this can this can be an effective pick for them. Again though, it's again, just I think it's something people have to adjust their thinking to. I am reiterating that I do think he is the second best defensive lineman in this class. There were teams that were talking about potentially trading up to get him, like the 49ers and some others. So I think he's a good player. So I think Travis was worth still staying there for, but I would love to be wrong. I don't try to thump my chest on this stuff and aim to be right on this. And anyway, that's not the goal. So I want to put a little bit of video up here.
Think he could play receiver and cornerback
to run through? No, but he can do a little bit of everything on that defensive line, man. He's very talented. So I want to throw some video up so you guys could see that here early on. It's fast, twitchy, right? I mean, he has a pass rush repertoire that is built, and he's like, again, he plays at a different speed in there. He is worth a top 10 pick. I firmly agree that. Like the idea here that they love him is not a surprise to me, and I think he will fit very well as one of like the Browns love to get their defensive tackles upfield. They like those guys to be pass rushers, play the rush on the way to rushing the quarterback. You play the run. So this is a guy who will be upfield and a havoc creator for them. And again, if like I said, if you get a health, I know he's coming off the knee injury, but if you get a healthy return from, blanking on his name in the middle of trying to do too many things right now, Mike Hall, then you have two extremely disruptive defensive tackles. And I really like Malik Collins, who they signed there as well. Juwan Briggs took some good steps. So it's a deep group. We'll see who steps up at the opposite edge to sort of anchor that. But Graham's a good player, man. He's a good player.
The need for the value that an interior disruptive pass rush can bring a defensive front is like really can't go understated. Miles is unbelievable by himself. If you finally give him a consistent force in the middle and the interior, I think that brings his game to another level. I think like Graham's a great player and like should fit into the defense well and can really like elevate everybody else by just being his disruptive self. I never had a doubt that like he wouldn't be a highly productive player and like disruptive player at the next level. It can't be understated what he can do for the defense. Part of me still is like, well, defense can only get you so far. Which I hate saying because like I said, like I love defensive linemen, especially the ones that are so disruptive. Looking at it from the other side, like, yeah, defense can only get you so far. Like, I think we've seen that in the past. But like they obviously, like what I said before, gotta let the trade play out. And like, they're still, I am like fairly confident that like they will pop back in here in the first round, just like with getting another early second round pick. Like, it just makes me feel that something is coming tonight. And if it doesn't, fine. Look at what, granted you had two early first round picks that year, but in 18, you got Chubb with your fourth pick of the draft, which was an early second round pick. So like, Austin Corbett, we don't talk about him, but having two early second round picks, like those are high quality players, but I just feel like something could be in the works later on as we get into the 20s. And we'll see how it pans out. But Graham's a great player. Like he's going to do a lot for the defense. I think he's going to elevate Miles and is going to be a quality player for a while here.
I would say something, David, in the comments, which I think is I take a little bit of umbrage with. I agree with him. Defensive tackle doesn't solve the worst offense, but I think there were so many factors in our offense being so bad that had kind of nothing to do with the players on the field, including basically try to switch the entire philosophy of the offense that your team had never done or was also like set up to do. So I think there's just going to be some regression to the mean here of them. Like, I don't think having Travis Hunter or not was going to be the sole factor in them not being the worst offense of the last 25 years for the second year in a row. I just don't see that as like the thing that was going to change it. I don't know. Gene T's small too. I keep forgetting he's like 5'8".
Yeah. Sturdy little guy.
Jake, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I think you're muted.
I am muted.
There you
This
go.
is like multitasking supreme right now. Yeah, I do think you're right about some of that, Peter, with the pick in terms of the offense can be better being a bit more organic. And I will be interested if they take that extra pick and invest it in an early running back. Or like you said, Scott, maybe they trade up. I don't know. But they need some better pieces there, and I'm curious what these early picks end up doing. I can't say any of us saw them taking Mason Graham, so I think we're all sort of trying to play catch up with what this means, sort of mentally, for what the rest of this draft shapes up to look like. So that part of it is tough to keep up with. Let me see here. I just want to get all these right. So the Raiders took Genty. Is that correct?
Well,
yes.
Tom Brady took Genty, yes.
As an announcement.
Yeah. Got it. All right.
Do you want to know who the Jets took?
Yeah.
Membo.
All right.
Jordan Schultz again.
So I just want to update everyone on picks that maybe you're probably all watching, but I did want to put those up there so that we had an idea of who those would be. All right. Okay. A lot of moving parts here, folks. A lot of moving parts. So you said the Jets taking him was not a surprise. That makes sense for them. Did we get any of our mocks right so far, Scott? Team and player? I don't know that we've gotten many correct.
From what we did last night?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I mean, we got Cam Ward. Cam Ward was right.
Oh yeah, we got one.
I mean, Carter to 3.
Yep, that's right.
I think Genty to the Raiders. Potentially, maybe. I might have taken him with the Jags at 5.
All right. Trying to see. Okay. So Membo is there. All right. So I wonder if we see Jalen Walker go to the Panthers here. That's what I'll be interested in.
That seemed pretty consistent in a lot of mocks.
Oh man.
Is this one going to keep you up tonight?
Well, this pick, the Mason Graham pick, no. I mean
the trade.
The trade. No, I mean I don't. If it was quarterback related, Scott, they didn't do that early. I think it would matter more to me. I wanted Hunter. I think there's a lot to love about that player. I thought it was pretty easy to pick him, but here we are, man. Here we are.
Yeah.
I'm not like super heartbroken, about it in that regard, but I would have gone a different direction. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Let me see here. All right. Any other picks come through?
Not yet. I mean, not that I've seen. Schultz hasn't done anything extra yet.
He's known to do that. All right. My goodness. Why is I've got like stuff for me is organized so poorly right now?
Right. So where like we think Walker here at 8 with Carolina. I mean, what do you think about New Orleans, Chicago? I mean, those are kind of New Orleans like coming off
where
of
Chicago
came off Shador really quick.
Yeah, I don't know where Chicago goes from here. That's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one.
I've been seeing tight end a lot for Chicago, and I mean, I think Warren getting through the Jets, like that was a pretty consistent one. Was Warren to New York, so him getting through there, I think it lines up for these teams paying at 9 and 10, and even the Niners at 11, because it looks like Walker pick is in for Carolina. Who can it be? Come on, Schultz.
Yeah, is he slacking a little now?
Well, I mean, my computer's not the fastest, but spicy.
Who'd they go with?
Tet.
Yeah, get their quarterback some weapons.
Yeah. He wasn't bad. I mean, he saved his NFL career probably with the way he played down the stretch.
He definitely did. That's an interesting pick. I like that for them. They could have gone pass rush. They need pass rush, but they need to figure out what they have in him. And that's a good move.
I mean, I was never like I still have been a big fan of Walker. Just like I don't know, something's not working for me. I understand how effective he was and like how good of a rush pass rusher he was. That's a dude's barely 6'2", or he's under 6'2", and you're gonna take him in the top 10.
Right.
That's all. Or 6'1" even. Like that's a big, putting a lot of weight on that guy for you think that's gonna pan out, but
Man,
very
busy
appropriate.
first
Very
round.
appropriate too. Oh yeah.
What's that?
No, appropriate that one NFL Network cut to the Browns draft party at the stadium. It was Journey playing "Don't Stop Believing." Very appropriate time. But whoever's in the truck from NFL Network there, well done.
All right. I'm just writing up some of this for our subscribers here on the website.
Yeah.
All right. Any other news come through? A lot of commercials right now. Probably
I
not.
haven't seen anything. NFL
Nothing
Network
crazy.
showing the Panthers draft room. Everybody dapping each other up.
All right. Questions. Hey, let's do this. Like, if you guys have questions, let's try to answer some of these. So you throw them up, we'll answer them. Anything you guys want to come through, this is an open session to have Scott and I answer some of your questions. So first one goes to you, Scott, and then we'll work on some other ones as they move. So a question from Ron Malone is, where does Mason Graham rank on Browns drafted defensive tackles? I am thinking like, I don't know. I mean, are we talking about like compared to Mike Hall, like Siaki Ika,
Perrion Winfrey?
Like, yeah, some of the other ones. I don't know if that's the exact point of that question, but
I mean, I think like on paper, I think it's an easy like he's got to be the top one that they've drafted on paper, at least coming out of college. I think that at least since Kevin's been head coach, the upfield like attacking disruptive interior defensive line has been the focus. It's hard to transition from college to the NFL at defensive tackle if you're not considered like the top guy or one of the top guys. So I think that bodes well for Graham and that he could have a quicker transition and like just get up to speed quicker. Like, Jordan Elliott. I mean, I love Jordan Elliott as a guy, like got to know him a lot during his time with the Browns and when we were together. Like, great dude, just never really could put it all together consistently. And he was a third round pick, so I think like it kind of drops off, and like the length, the runway needed to like get up to speed gets a lot longer the later that you go with these guys. Like another like Tommy Togiai, like should have never been picked, to be perfectly honest. Like, I mean, dude, short armed, not the great guy. Like, should have never been picked where he was. Like, another good dude shouldn't have been picked where he was. I think Graham being taken in the first round and being as consensusly like ranked as highly as he was by everybody, I think he's got the best chance of of any of the guys that the Browns have drafted recently to like hit it quick and get rolling quick and like be effective early in his career. So like, I mean, that's a lot of what ifs, and we got to see what he does on the field, but like he should have the best chance to be a pretty good pick here at D tackle.
Yeah, he cleared that up a little bit, Ron did, about meaning talent-wise traits. Yeah, it's by far the best one they've invested in, and it should be, right? I mean, it should be the spot that you're taking that player, right? So, question from Daniel asked, is Graham more of a run stopper? Or the short arms concern you? I think he's good in both phases, personally. But there are going to be, like you said, some shorter arms, some little lighter weight than you expect. He's going to have to win a lot on speed. So that is that's where I stand on it. But I think he's a balanced player. The hope for him would be that you can get 1,000 snaps a year out of him, through 2 contracts because that's the type of that's the type of player you're taking this guy 5th overall. He's got to be. Look at look at defensive tackles. Let's just go over defensive tackles drafted here in this range over the last few years. So, okay. Last year, Byron Murphy selected 16th overall, really promising rookie year out of Texas. Jalen Carter selected 9th overall. We know what Jalen Carter has turned into for the Eagles. Jordan Davis, 13th overall, a little further down. He's been a bit of a disappointment, but still a nice player. Barmore is a hell of a player. He was selected top of the 2nd round, though. So he's a second contract player, but a very good player. Derek Brown was selected 7th overall as a defensive tackle out of Jackson or by the Panthers. He's a second contract player, a really good defensive tackle for them. Quinnen Williams, 3rd overall. We know what Quinnen Williams has been.
Great player.
In New York, very good. 9th overall was Ed Oliver in that draft. And that's been a disappointment. He was lighter. He's a second contract guy. Never quite the player they hoped he would be, though, to be clear.
He picked it up. He showed up in like the contract year. Yeah, but like so he made it where, but like I think the theme that you're getting like that and kind of goes along with what I said, like the higher that these guys get picked, the more likely they are to be second contract guys, which you want out of a high pick, out of any pick, but a high pick especially. Yeah, I mean, I think that's like it's a high pick to go with with an interior guy. You don't see it that high often. It just doesn't happen because it's an interior guy, and like typically that high is set for edge rushers and guys whose job is to get after the quarterback, not to play the run and the pass. So but like, yeah, I think he's got a shot. Like I think he's got a shot. I mean, him being, like I said, him being so consensusly picked this high and across the board, pretty much, like I think that bodes really well for him.
Yeah, just to wrap it up there, Christian Wilkins was 13th in that 2019 draft. We know he turned into Dexter Lawrence, the 17th pick, which was ironically the Browns pick that they gave to the Giants for the Odell trade. Then 19 was Jeffrey Simmons, a bunch of really good first-round defensive tackles in that class. 2018 was Vita Vea and Dayron Payne, good players. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Like this pick, this is a player that has to be very good, very impactful, very good. So, yeah, a lot of pressure on him. A lot of pressure on him in this moment to make it work.
Schultz says New Orleans gets Kelvin Banks from Texas.
Yep. Not surprised to see Banks go in the top 10 in this class.
So I gotta think that it's one of the tight ends to Chicago.
Yep. Yep, I think you might be onto that one. Oh. All right. Yeah, some people think the Simmons group and stuff would be out there a little higher maybe, but yeah, anyway, I think the Banks thing was growing as it got closer to time here.
Yeah, solid player.
Yeah. Oh man, oh man. So we're getting closer to that range. Getting closer. That 15 range is where we start to say could a trade up, and that they got really aggressive. Sort of happen. All right, another question.
That would be aggressive.
Scott,
I think that.
can you talk about how late free agents factor in a team building? I think specifically Cooper here. Browns didn't draft a receiver. Now what? Maybe you can give some insights on that, Scott.
All right, Colston Loveland to Chicago. Okay.
Man, the Colts lost. Whoa, Colston Loveland goes before Tyler
For
Warren.
Yeah. I don't think many have that. Can you talk about how late free agents factor into team building thinkings with Cooper here, Browns?
So I would think like guys after the draft is the angle here.
Right. So I think it depends on the position. If you got a running back, like I was kind of talking about that, I think earlier this week, like taking a running back late or a linebacker, or a safety, like it's an undrafted guy. Like I think those guys are going to be, you kind of pencil them into like if they make the team, it's going to be special teams, and they're going to have to like just blow everything out of the water during the preseason games. I think those are like, depending on what your roster looks like going into the draft. So like how we would do it was like we would get there'd be like going into day 3, there would be a list of like, okay, these are the numbers of positions that we want to fill for this day. So like, say it was like 2 receivers, 2 linebackers, 2 running backs, whatever it was, like the numbers that we needed to fill during that day, meaning through the draft picks plus the undrafted position. So like, or the after the draft stuff. So like, say we drafted a receiver and a linebacker during day 3, those numbers would go down to 1. So now, like, if you're the guys working those positions, you only have to focus on one guy, or finding one guy, and you can put everything you got into getting that guy. So like, knowing what you're looking for going into the draft is big. And then like those players are like the grinders. I mean, those are the players that like the coaches, the position coaches, know a lot about, because like we would work closely with the position coach. Like my last year was D-line DNs, I should say. And we worked closely with D-line coach that year in the lead up to the draft to like have him watch the list of guys that we were watching. Like we thought we'd have conversations with them, so everybody's on the same page. So we're talking, the messaging to the guys that we're targeting was all the same. So I like it in the sense that like the coaches get really like in-depth knowledge and feel for those guys before they come in. They're not just meeting these guys for the first time, maybe in person probably, but they're not like speaking to them for the first time when they come into the facility. So like, I think that is like an underrated aspect of like the undrafted free agent process, is like how closely the coach can get with that guy before he comes in. Cause it makes the transition a little bit less, a little quicker, a little less seamless for that guy. And, that can help a lot. I mean, because like those guys they're undrafted for a reason. Like they're not the best players. Doesn't mean that they're not going to make the team. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be quality players. But like they've made it that far without being drafted for a reason. But if you get the coach on board, I think that's like very important, because then he knows what that guy like needs to work on a lot early, especially in this like the first offseason, like this first spring for any rookie. The first spring is like really important, because it's shortened compared to the vets. They got to get up to speed even faster, and to have like a relationship with the coach, the position coach, before he shows up. I think that's big. And like, I would say that's a big, like, that's the mark of like a good coach. And like, that group's in good hands. If he can get on board with that guy and get that guy up to speed, or an undrafted guy quickly, and you can get the best out of that guy as fast as you can. Again, it's like those are the guys that get caught up in like the numbers game at cut time, if they're going to make the team or not, like if you haven't kind of solidified yourself. But, those are the guys that you're looking at for your practice squad. And like, it's good to like, again, I think it comes back to the coaches getting them or having them have a relationship with the player before he comes in. That's like the biggest probably factor too, like those guys fitting into the team as quick as they can.
Good stuff. Okay, let's see here. Mary Kay Cabot mentioning a trade up for the Browns. I mean, it's the quarterbacks, guys. It's whichever quarterback they prefer. You're not moving up for anything other than that. Bert, question about how does he compare to Aaron Donald? I mean, I
Remains to be seen.
I don't think anybody compares to Aaron Donald. Just a freak. I mean, I think Graham needs to get stronger. He would be served well. He can win at the NFL level as is. I just think that like a stronger, a little twitchy, like he could just become better. The thing that we don't know is, he didn't test. So that's a bit of a problem, right? Like he weighed in at pro day again because his pro day at weigh-in was only 296. He weighed in at 306. So he's 6'3.5", 306, and the arms are 32, which is short. So, it's shorter than you'd ideally like them to be, but he can win in other ways. I will write up a pretty extensive film room on him for you guys tomorrow, so we have something to read and watch on the player. But yeah, I mean, we can't quite go to that spot. Scott, I'll let you answer this one first. What would you like to see them do at 38, 33 and 38? That does get interesting. Those are 2 second-day premium spots. So that
so before I do it, so it's Michael Williams to the 49ers.
Okay.
The other Georgia guy to San Fran. What would I do at 33 and 38? So I think it's all it kind of a cop-out answer. It depends on how the board falls. I've said it earlier tonight. Like I think that having 2 picks there makes a trade back in a lot more likely. I think it was definitely on the table anyway with just 1. But especially if you can turn, was it 38 or 36?
Let me check on that. I think it's 38, but I could be wrong.
Well, whichever one it is, I think if you can spin that one, the second one, and move into the first, I think that is, and keep 33. Like you're in the prime position there to get some quality players. I think my gut says
36. So yeah, that's even it's
yeah.
3.
So I think 36 is even obviously like it's even more advantageous to trade 36 than 38. Like not that it's a long gap, but if you're trying to trade it at 24, to Minnesota, 36 might be better than 38. I'm sure everybody that they talk to is going to want 33. If they can kind of hold on to that one, I think that's even more of like a win. To have a, maybe they pick it like 31 or 29 to Washington, 31 KC, 30 to Buffalo, like, and then they pick again at 33. Like you're going to get 2 pretty quality players. If you've been paying attention to what I'm saying, like I think if they go 36 to 29 or 30, who I want. I want Dart, but kind of has. I'm sure they'll just take it as it comes as we get closer to that and see who's there, who's available. Right. In my mind, I would want Dart, but it might not. He might get taken before that. He might not. Like they might be thinking someone else. And also having 33 just makes me think that they're going to be aggressive with 36 and and it's even more advantageous to be aggressive because then like if you go at 30, then there's less of a chance of like, or even if you trade a 32 with Philly, like less of a chance of somebody coming and jumping you at 33 than to get the quarterback you want or get whoever you want. So I think that they're going to trade this one and come back in, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with this spot in particular. Getting back into the late first round, we got to hang out and talk through some things that happened before that, right? So we'll be doing that, but there's a big decision to be made here, Scott, about what they're going to do with this spot, man. They got it's those are two fun picks to have at the top of the second, sort of when you step back and analyze. Like, I mean, pretty much you could get a tackle and quarterback now at those spots, right? In theory.
Yeah.
So that's something that we had kind of addressed a little bit. You could get a running back there. Brian Cassias's dart worth both seconds to get in front of the Steelers. That's a question for you, Scott. I don't think so, but you might.
I don't think so. I mean, I love him. I think that's too much. Because I think that I think you got to be pretty confident that the Steelers are taking Dart at 21 to give up both of those picks to get in front of them. And I mean, I haven't seen a lot of talk linking Dart to them. And now that doesn't mean it can't happen. Obviously, it can. I think that is a lot to get all the way up to 20. But I think I don't know if I don't think the Steelers want Dart. At least that's not what I've seen. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I don't think that I don't think they're the worry for Dart. To be honest, I think sounds like they like Sanders if they're going to take one. So, but I don't think that they're going for Dart.
No, I don't either. Mason Graham, man. Here we are. That's not what many people projected.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's a good point from Bert. Like, Aaron Donald has 32-inch arms too, which is true. But he was a teleportation freak. He moved like an edge in a ridiculously fit DT body. So I'm with you. I want Mason Graham to be a 7-time All-Pro and walk into Canton. That'd be the goal. But he needs to be really good at minimum to justify what they did today, right? So interested to see if that comes to fruition. I'll be watching eagerly. I like having good defensive line, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the 49ers. You said they're taking Jalen Walker. I've been trying to post so many things for the site that haven't been able to pay attention the way I'd like to. They went Michael Williams, so Walker's still on the board.
Yeah.
Oh,
Walker's
wow.
still there.
Okay, so top of the best available right now is Tyler Warren at tight end, Will Johnson, Jalen Walker, Zade Barron, Jihad Campbell, Mike Green, Malachi Starks. Those are your top available at this moment.
I'll say Williams going here first before Walker and even Green. Those two guys are very similar. Walker and Green, similar body, similar size. I mean, I think that Williams is 6'4". He's the prototypical size for a D lineman, and I think that when you're this high in the draft still, I was surprised how often Walker was going ahead of Williams, and some with Green going ahead of Williams. Teams like size, they like length, they like traits. Again, not saying those two aren't going to be great and great pass rushers and disruptive. I just think that this seems more on par with this high in the draft, the guy that has the size and has shown the ability. It makes sense.
Yeah. boy, Mike
Tyler
Williams.
Booker to Dallas.
The guard.
Yes, from Bama.
Is that the highest a guard has ever been drafted?
A true guard.
Oh no, Quentin Nelson, but that's up there.
Yeah.
That is up there. Wow. I don't think Cowboys fans are going to be very happy with that one, as my hunch.
I don't think they've been very happy with a lot that's going on with Dallas lately.
No, I don't think so. Not at all. Ooh, Tyler Booker, 12th overall. Man. Peter's back. Hi, Peter.
What's up, baby?
I did order some food, so at some point I will eat said food when it arrives. Don't know when that'll happen, but I had a late start.
I got up at 4:45 this morning.
Yeah, just consistently, kids just knocking doors down, ready to attack the day.
Well, that was actually me going to work.
That's even worse. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's not worse.
I didn't beat the kids up. I beat the kids to waking up. That's what I meant to say. All right. So you really think they're going to get back in the first round here?
There are people who
are the same people saying that stuff.
There are people on this. There are people on this stream that feel that.
Yeah.
I do. I just think it might not happen. Like if it doesn't, so be it. I just think that 36. If you swing 36 into the first round, you still get 33. Like that. That's a win. And even if you have to give up 33, you're picking early tomorrow. I think like having another early second round pick makes me just feel like they're not done yet. Could be wrong. Just makes you feel like they're not done yet.
Well, what aligns most with them picking Mason Graham? Does a Mason Graham pick at 5 make you feel like they are moving into the does that feel in concert with? I don't know.
Well, I think it kind of. I wasn't putting it out of the realm of possibility if they stuck at 2, didn't have an extra second, and then still came back in to get a quarterback. So, like, I think getting here's the silver lining of the Mason Graham trade, like getting a blue chip player in the draft, this year's draft, like what everyone thinks, another 2, and then you potentially, if you keep 33, you trade and you still keep 33, you still are in that seat tomorrow at the first pick of the day. It's like, why wouldn't you be a little aggressive? You don't have to be, but why wouldn't you? You have a little bit of a luxury of having another high second round pick. Like I didn't think this was the path they were going to go, but like I think you have a little bit of a luxury with 2 in the top 4 or 5 of the second day.
Yeah, 2 in the top 4. It'll be fun to be. If they make both of those picks, it'll be.
Is this the least amount of quarterbacks that have been drafted in the top 12 since?
Well, the Pickett draft, the only quarterback in the first round was Kenny at 20th. So,
Kenny Pickett.
That would be Cleveland Browns quarterback Kenny Pickett now.
Yeah.
Yes.
You think our quarterback situation is weird. The frickin' Saints, man. Good Lord.
Yeah, that was a weird one. The Saints are scouting the next class pretty heavily.
I would hope so. Can you play Derek Carr in a sling? Is that legal?
They're going to let Spencer get rattled around a little bit this year and get him a first overall pick.
So is it all really now, like for us at least, all eyes on Pittsburgh at 21 with Shador?
Yeah, I think that's safe. Seeing there, and then if any team moves up to maybe 24, do the Giants want to go to 24?
Say that again, Peter.
Like, is this all for us about seeing if Shador goes to the Steelers at 21?
Yeah, I think that's the first domino. Is how I would phrase
Could
it.
be. I mean, yeah.
The Rams are an interesting spot to take a quarterback potentially if they're looking for a Stafford downline replacement. Other than those two, it's just about the spots at which people would move up. 24 to the Vikings, you could get a move up. 29 to the Commanders could get a move up, and then I certainly think both the Chiefs and the Eagles will listen at their spots. That's what I know, guys.
Let me say this. How do you feel about, I don't know if you talked about this while I was shoveling some food in my mouth as well. What about Jim Schwartz, do you think is good or bad or indifferent for Mason Graham?
I think it's fine. It's fine. He likes, like I said, he's an upfield encouraging player. Like I tried to frame it that way when they took him, that like the theory there is like your defensive linemen create vertical havoc and they let their linebackers with the quote clean it up from the havoc. So he's an upfield penetration creator. He's not going to be expected to anchor double teams all the time. I think they're going to want him to, just like Mike Hall was their version of this last year. I think if you get a good version of Mike Hall with Mason Graham, you have a very, very formidable defensive tackle group. Like, it's really good. I know Myles Garrett liked him. I've heard that directly. So there's the idea here is that they got a lot of input from 95. He liked him, and they collectively, between Schwartz and all of them, like that player. So, make it work, man. Make it work. Like, again, I went through while you were gone, Peter. Like, here are all the defensive tackles who've been picked in this top 15 range, let alone top 5 range. Pressure's on. Like, he's got to be really good. He cannot be bad. The kind of it's a kind of pick at the kind of spot where if you had people who are like, well, if you take Travis Hunter at 2 and he's a cornerback, like, that's too high. Well, it's got to be really good, right? Same sort of thing from that sort of setup. Like, it's the same sort of thing for me, where it's like, the pressure's on. Defensive tackle cannot be taking 5. It's not an edge rusher. It's not an offensive tackle. There is very little patience here. He's got to be good.
Yeah.
But you watched him as much as anyone.
I did watch him.
Do you like him?
Yeah, he single-handedly kept Michigan being relevant last year, and they were absolutely awful everywhere else. It was the biggest Harbaugh's out, we won a national championship hangover of a season, and half the reason they were even close in games because you think the Browns' offense was bad last year. Watch a Michigan football game. Like, rough. They couldn't move the ball at all. Their quarterback situation was atrocious. And he kept him in every game. And I think the big thing, too, was like, yes, I think it's misleading to say, like, he only had 3.5 sacks. Like, it felt like he was pushing the line backwards with a double team or getting penetration more than 50% of the plays. Like, he does when you watch him or go back and watch, like, their games or their tape, just consistently jump off the screen in terms of that kind of disruption. Now, are his T-Rex arms going to hurt him, or is his size just like going to make that small bit of a difference where he's not going to be as impactful? Maybe, but also, like, the dude single-handedly, I forget the other D tackle for Michigan right now.
Kenneth Grant.
Well, Kenneth Grant, you're talking about Kenneth Grant, who just got picked by the Dolphins.
There you go. I mean,
2 top 15 defensive tackles. I literally was like, Ohio State got wrecked by Transformers on that defensive line for Michigan last year. That was the difference.
That was the funniest part of the game. And listen, congrats to you guys for winning the national championship. Always good to do it in a year you take the L from your biggest competitor. But, like, they just were like, we're gonna do the only thing possible that keeps Michigan in this game, which is run directly into 2 of the 15 most talented players in the country for 4 quarters. And honestly, probably what sparked them to like win the championship and just let them air it out a little bit and say like, why are we not letting Chip Kelly just do his thing? But Mason, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, wow, you're really good at a really good school in a position that's really important. Maybe a good pick.
Third Michigan player in the top 13, and Will Johnson not being one of them is pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Wild.
Tyler Warren to Indy.
Yeah, I wonder if Indy liked him more than Colston. That's what I would love to know.
Man, Loveland
because
at 10
it's
is
a good.
earlier than anybody had him, I feel like, right? Wasn't he kind of
It,
getting mocked
I
at like late teens and 20s?
yeah, there were some times where you could get him like
Jets,
nobody in
yeah.
the
The
later
Jets
portion of the draft. So I had I think the first deep dive mock I did, he was our pick at 33.
Yeah.
So there was a chance, but
Oh, wow.
the league liked it. Was just the Bears. I think the Bears had their eyes on an offensive tackle. And then when all those guys got swept up, especially right in front of them by the Saints, they probably pivoted to the tight end they liked the most. And I'm not surprised to see Colston, who was like the entire Michigan passing game, especially last year. If they threw the ball, what you said, Peter, they didn't throw it well at all. But he was like their market share. He was like their only guy. So
honestly,
when he
every
went
Michigan
out,
quarterback looked like they were being told that they had to throw with their non-dominant hand. It was
it was rough.
Man.
Gave me some flashbacks to when Rich Rod first took the job, and it was like, oh, we have these Lloyd Carr transplants. It was like I can't even remember some of their names, but they looked so lost.
Oh, it was brutal. Rich Rod. That's not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Alex
good call out, huh?
Anything but, I'll tell you what. That guy.
There it is.
It was
Stephen Threet. That's the name I couldn't remember. Stephen Threet and Nick Sheridan. Those were the guys. Then they had Tate Forcier for a minute. Remember that name?
Oh,
Tate,
man.
yes.
Wish I did.
Who was that white running back that was kind of fun for a year? Like Duffy? Something like that? They had like a white running back who was kind of fun.
Just some Irish
and then
kid
he left
by not going to Notre Dame.
Yeah, then he left. Sam McGuffey was his name.
McGuffey.
Then he went to Rice. That's right. Back when you couldn't transfer. Anyway, we got on a Michigan tangent for a minute, but yeah, I like the Warren fit for the Colts. That's good. Now, Falcons are a team that have been rumored to be talking to people about potentially moving. So, you know, I think this gets really interesting for us at 21 is how I would phrase it, guys.
That's what I said, man. Come on. I don't know anything, but at least I know.
I think
how
I
to
said
talk
that
about
first. I'm pretty
storylines.
sure you never said that. So,
Jake, which one of your kids farted on your pillow to make your face look like that?
So what I was told at urgent care today is that a part of what I have going on with my body is a virus that also leads to pink eye organically. And I'm like, okay, didn't know that was a thing.
COVID can give you pink eye?
And then there's like another set of viruses that are running through me too. So yeah, I got a real potpourri of things in my life right now. Not going well.
Another set of viruses. Like, what does that mean? Another set of viruses.
Well, there's
awful.
also what's the name of this? Adenovirus, which is kind of like a family of viruses that can cause a bunch of different illnesses, but like it can go from the common cold all the way to pneumonia or pink eye. So, you know, the people here listening are like, what are we doing, guys? But did you like Tyler Warren or Colston?
It's called
Loveland
filling
more?
4 hours of draft coverage.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, exactly right. I think I liked Loveland more than Warren. Warren, I worry about Warren as an athlete. Did he test? Did he actually go through all the drills? Let's check that out. No, he didn't do any. No one tests anymore. You don't know these guys. I don't know who any of these guys are as athletes. So, like, I think I just worry about he blocks really hard, and I think he'll fit with what they do. I think I like Loveland more as a prospect who also didn't test. So, no. Popular trend.
I mean, Loveland's the like proven receiver, and Warren's the Swiss Army knife chess piece guy. kind of like what you're feeling. I think like I see your point. Like I think Warren can be it's like it almost like he fits Indy with how they're running their offense with Richardson, I think, more than like Loveland would. I mean, just the style of player, like move him around, get him involved in the run game, probably misdirection stuff with Richardson. Whereas Loveland's the route running, quality receiving tight end. So I'm not saying Warren can't get there, but like I think he almost like fits Indy's offense the way they're running it now, and even really with that, the way they could run it with Daniel Jones at quarterback, fits their offense like maybe better than Loveland does to a certain, if you look at it a certain way.
Well, Dallas Clark 2.0, huh? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe 44. Wasn't he? Wasn't Clark 44 or 46?
Was he 44 as well?
Like that.
He was 44. That's funny.
I think he was.
He was, yeah. The 2 44s at tight end. That'll be funny. Yeah, we have the Bengals coming up soon too, so that'll also be interesting to see who they select. A lot of names when we talk to their guest. A lot of names of guys there that they're very interested in, still available. Oh man. Let's see.
Ooh. Great comment from someone talking shit to you, Jake.
What's that?
Jake, from Brett. One thing about Graham is that you've been pounding the table for a couple of years that the Browns can't get away with horrible run defense. Maybe this is a shift in AB's approach on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Graham's a better pass rusher than run defender, and that's okay too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not making myself clear. I like Mason Graham a lot. I just really wanted Travis Hunter for what I think would best serve them for the next 7 to 10 years. But again, I'm not like, oh my God, they took Mason Graham. I can't stand that player. No, I like him. Just want to be clear about that. Again,
if we get to 4,000 subs before the beginning of the season, would you, Jake, shave your beard into a Mason Graham?
Yeah, just the chin, yeah, I could do that. That's a deal. We'll deal that up. Corey, what's up, man? Happy to have you joining us, buddy.
How's it going?
We're we're surviving. We've been a lot of like blank stares at the screen that have happened. Corey's with Daft on Draft. He's been with me at the OBR before. He does great work. Browns Wire. Like I said, his Substack is one of the ones we recommend. One of the better ones you'll find on 365 draft coverage. Corey works as hard as anybody in the field, man. So he's been on the pod many times. Should be a name you're familiar with. What's your vibe? Like, let's walk through moving out of 2 first. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts there. Before we get to Mason Graham chat, but just what do you think of the return they received?
I mean, as far as the haul is concerned, like they couldn't have done much better in terms of a return.
Yeah, but 5 to 2 is not a very big jump, so I agree.
And a future first and a top 40 pick, that's for a 5 or a 3 pick slide up. That's pretty tremendous. But it's hard to swallow not having Travis Hunter. Like, it's so two-phased here. It's like,
yep.
But you don't get the guy, the unicorn. You don't get the unicorn.
I'm with it, man. That's my biggest thing. Is I was explaining before you got here. Is I like Mason Graham. There's plenty of things I like about what the defensive line could be. He's the second highest player for me on the defensive line outside of Abdul Carter. I'll be interested to get your opinion on that. But I don't mind. I don't mind it in theory. I just, like I said, I think for what they needed, and what was best for the next 10 years, I thought Travis Hunter made more sense. So
Mhm.
talk me through what you think of Mason Graham, where you had him ranked in your outlook and everything.
Yeah, he was the number 5 player on my board, so I think the value very much adds up there. I do think he could be a little sterner, like taking on a duo blocks against the run,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
think he's by any means a bad run defender. I think he can 2-gap just fine. I think he can anchor in solo blocks just fine. I do love the explosiveness, the heavy hands, and I think specifically I love, like, you don't see a bunch of 315-pound dudes with as fluid of hips as he has. So his ability to
Right.
burn outside shoulders of guards, like from 4-eye looks, like that's extremely valuable. I will be interested to see how they can kind of. I mean, it feels like they're building a defensive tackle room out of NASCAR stars right now. So I'll be interested to see how that can kind of fit a little bit. But like how in like non-obvious passing downs, how they can fit Mike Hall and Mason Graham on the field together, and maybe they don't want to, and maybe they've decided we can't trust Mike, and he could be gone tomorrow, and that's part of this move too. But I do like the fit of Mason Graham. I love the fit of Mason Graham with Jim Schwartz, and I love the player. It is that just it's a massive pill. Like that Travis Hunter pill is a massive pill to swallow. So
Yeah. Well said. Who's been your, I guess, walk me through the surprises you have early in this draft here?
Yeah.
Colston going ahead of Tyler Warren a little bit.
So not specifically for the Bears. I've loved the fit of Colson with the Bears. I even mocked him there in my last mock draft that I wrote 10 days ago, a week ago, whenever that was. I really love that fit because, I mean, they let Keenan Allen walk, and Keenan Allen was old anyway. With Ben Johnson, they're going to move to a ton of 12 personnel. So they need a slot. They need that tight end too, just what Ben Johnson was able to scheme open for Sam Laporta, kind of a similar athlete, similar body type. And I even think Colson Loveland's kind of a souped up Sam Laporta. So I thought it was a seamless fit, not only for Caleb Williams to have another playmaker, but it fills a need in the slot. It fills a need in 12 personnel. And then I do think they're probably going to move off Cole Kmet after this season as well.
Right.
So I think it checks a lot of boxes for the Bears. So I really love that Loveland fit. As far as surprises, I thought Tet McMillan went a little earlier than I expected him to, and I didn't expect him to go to Carolina.
No, makes sense for them trying to figure out Bryce, but yeah, I'm with you.
For sure, but Xavier Legette is very much also kind of like what I would describe as like an X-dominant receiver. So now you have 2 X-dominant receivers that I don't really know. Like how do you mesh Legette and how do you mesh McMillan on the field together? So like that's kind of odd to me. That pairing there. Kelvin Banks I thought went way higher than he should have. I know there's some love for Kelvin Banks, but to me that's an interior offensive lineman who they're going to try to play at left tackle. And to me, that's a guy who's on the ground a lot, has some balance issues. Really in that Texas offense is jump setting 80% of the time, so it's hard to find a true vertical or 45 set where he's setting at depth at any regard on tape. So to me, that felt like a pretty big stretch to go Kelvin Banks at 9.
Yeah, I think that one also was the Bears' pivot off tackle when those tackles kind of went away from them. That seemed like an interesting spot. The looks like one more pick came through. Jalen Walker is going to stay and is staying down near in Georgia. Played it for the Falcons as that selection. So that's the most recent pick. I don't think we have anything for 16 showing up yet, but not surprised by that. The Falcons pass rush, as we mocked it yesterday, is kind of laughable. It's really bad, really bad. The Bengals is interesting, man. When I talked to Jake Lisco, they were very into the defensive tackle group, and I think they really like Walter Nolan. Do you think that's a good fit there, or one of the safeties, a man of warrior, or something like that for them?
So I've heard Walter Nolan or Shamar Stewart are kind of their top 2 guys. So obviously Sam Hubbard retired, so they need kind of a bigger base end opposite Trey, and then they might have to replace Trey as early as the draft. They could trade him tomorrow. Who knows there? So I think, and I love Shamar Stewart. I know people don't love the production with Shamar Stewart, but he's got every freaking tool in his tape is pretty top notch in my opinion. So I've heard Walter Nolan or Shamar Stewart for Cincinnati.
Corey, question popped up for you here. What's more important to you to getting W's, a good wide receiver or a good defensive tackle?
I think you got to score points, man. You got to score points.
I agree.
And especially when we're looking at a wide receiver room where, like, I don't think Jerry Jeudy's breakout was a fluke. And I trust Cedric Tillman as kind of like, in the Browns offense, the X receivers a little sacrificial at times. Like he's just there to take up a defender. I think you need somebody else who can draw attention because Cedric Tillman's not doing it. And as much as Jerry Jeudy played well, like Jerry Judy's not drawing attention. Like I don't think there are defensive coordinators who are specifically putting a gold star on Jerry Jeudy. So like they don't have a gold star receiver that like demands attention. Maybe they'll come. They have 2 early second-round picks now, so maybe they'll go back and get a Luther Burden, who I think is a really good fit with Jerry Jeudy because they can both do some slot Z versatile stuff. They can both manufacture some touches, and they're both really good after the catch. So, like, I think that those two could have some pretty interesting flight patterns on the field together. So I'd be really interested in that. But right now, I really struggle that there's really not a gold star playmaker through the air on that offense.
All right, good question there. This is the question I was going to ask, which is, who we want with our next pick that you're I know it's way too early, but it's also interesting to at least start to think about that if you can. Who would be there that would interest you?
Yeah. So it depends. Are we going to see another run on offensive tackles here? I mean, we've already seen an early run on offensive tackles, so there's a good chance Josh Connerly, Donovan Jackson, those guys could still go back end of round 1 here. So I'd be pretty interested in that. Having 36 changes a whole lot because now I don't think you're pigeonholed into Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart at 33 because like the odds of both of those guys going from 33 to 36 is not high, in my opinion. Like I like New Orleans is sitting at 41. Could New Orleans come up? Sure.
Yeah. I
don't think teams are going to be trading assets, future assets, donating future assets, honestly, to trade back into the first round for these quarterbacks. I just don't see it. So I think they could get a quarterback at 36. So who's BPA? Man, Donovan Jackson, I think, would be a stellar fit to either play left tackle or left guard in the future for that team. I don't know if you would stomach if you did draft him as a guard, if you would stomach having a guy who would be an immediate contributor as a top 33 pick. I don't know. Luther Burden and Emeka Egbuka, one of those two guys I would be thrilled with. Because again, I think they have kind of crossing flight patterns as Jerry Jeudy, and you could do a lot of really fun stuff with those guys in that wide receiver room. It would still scare me that I don't feel like either of those receivers are gold star receivers either. Luther Burden maybe more so because I think there's more to his skill set than what he was asked to do or was doing at Missouri. But even then, I still think Luther Burden's a little tighter in the ankles than I thought he was, and it's still going to take a little while to learn how to run a full route tree. I think getting a wide receiver, like you just got to get a wide receiver, man.
I would like them to find one too. I would too. I will be interested to see if I've been against it, but a top of the second round running back that they really like could be in play. So the Cardinals go Walter Nolan right in front of Cincinnati. Swiped him.
Interesting.
Swiped him. All right, Corey, great stuff, dude. I know you got a lot to do on your end, so it's good to check in with you. And I'm sure we'll grab some attention from you over the weekend into next week, man, with your feedback on this. So go again, guys. Daft on Draft, find it. It's linked in our show or our website. You can find Corey there. Yeah, well worth your time. So thanks again, Corey. Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yep.
See you guys.
See you, man. All right, Scott. Well, we're trudging along, man, to pick 21. Yep. It's going to be interesting. I like Walter Nolan for Arizona. They needed it. That's for certain. Okay. All right. All right, guys, it's running up on 2 hours of coverage here. At some point, I'm going to have to pause for just a moment. Scott's going to have to talk to you solo or something when I got to get food. I'll eat it down here, but I have had no food, dude. I am feeling a little shaky, folks. We still have over 150 of you hanging out with us, so we appreciate that very much. Oh, man. I'm sure the Bengals are a little pivoty here. I don't know if their pick has shown up yet, but maybe you can keep them in the loop, Scott, on this one. I'm going to go grab that real quick. Scott's going to yell at you. Got some questions for Scott?
Yeah,
Because here, most likely to swap with Pittsburgh. That one. Give me literally 60 seconds. I will be right back, gang.
better hustle. What team would be most likely to swap to jump Pitt? I mean, really, like it's New York. It's the Giants potentially. I mean, similar situation as the Browns if they want. You know, Shador, Dart, whoever at quarterback. If you want to go up and get, be sure that you like guarantee yourself whoever you want. I think you got to get above Pittsburgh. I said that last week. I think that like to guarantee your pick, the pick of the litter with what's left at quarterback. I think you need to get above Pittsburgh. I mean, again, a lot of what I've seen was Pittsburgh likes Shador. I've also heard they don't necessarily like him that much to take him, but like it certainly seems like if they're going to take one, it's Shador. Could be smokescreen, could be true. But yeah, I mean, I think that like it's probably just one of the quarterback teams like the Giants, the Browns, although I don't think the Browns would go up that high. But it could be the Giants. I know LA, the Rams have kind of caught some heat or some buzz, I should say, with quarterback. I don't know if they would go up that high because like they don't need one as bad as some of those other teams. I mean, like the Jets potentially could still grab a quarterback just with Fields as Fields. But I would probably say it's probably the Giants, the Browns, but leaning more toward New York than anyone else. But I also think it factors in like who you like most as at quarterback. Like if you love Shador, then you got to get above Pittsburgh in my mind. If you don't love Shador or if you love someone else, then you don't necessarily have to get ahead of Pittsburgh potentially. So I don't think the list is that long. Like I think New Orleans is kind of, made it clear that they're not going to go high for a quarterback. That they could, but like that, I don't think that that'd be a lot. That'd be a big jump from, like 40 or whatever they are in the second round to all the way to 20. So like I don't see that happening, especially with what the messaging they've been putting out there. I guess I would say if I had to pick one, I'd say New York, but like also could be the Browns. But I would say the Giants. All right. Man, quiet. Jordan Schultz being quiet here.
All right, I got some food. Whew.
He's back.
All right, we made it. Looks like the Bengals are going to take Shamar. From what I'm seeing, that's two.
Where are you seeing now? Because Jordan Schultz has gone quiet.
I have him tweeting it 1 minute ago. Well. I am going to have to eat in front of you guys. I'm sorry. But
what do you got?
I just have
there we go.
I do trashy food for the draft, man. I do B-dubs. It's just a tradition. I've been doing it forever. All right. So the Bengals take another unproductive, non-productive college pass rusher. Project type. So yeah. We'll see, man. I need to hit on this one.
This might have been. I think I got this one right last night.
I think you did, actually. Now that you say that.
The running joke with Cincinnati, and I think they've kind of corrected this lately, but the running joke was that because they have such a small scouting department that they don't scout anyone other than Power 5, 4 power conference teams.
They never go outside of their comfort zone. Yeah.
They never go outside. They never go to a mid-major or lower. So I think this fits that spot perfectly. And yeah, I mean, I think like this could be the replacement for Hendrickson, although I don't know if like I said, he's the workout warrior of the 2025 pre-draft cycle.
So we've only seen one trade, right? We've only seen the Browns move. That's it.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. Only 2 trades today have been the Browns.
Yeah, that's funny.
But tonight,
On-brand.
for the first round, is only the Browns, yeah. Now Schultz says the Seahawks are talking trade down, which I've heard that a bunch, actually.
What pick are they, 20 or 19?
None, 18, like
18.
right now.
Be interesting who moves up into that spot.
I was saying, so to answer that question right before you walked out, I don't know if you heard, but like I was saying, New York could be the Giants could be the trade up team to get above Pittsburgh. Like I don't think the Browns move up that high, but I think that the Giants could do that.
No, I'm with you on that. Seahawks are talking to trade down. All right. Movement. Okay, so this is interesting. Yeah, Mason Graham does rock the underbeard, the chin fro, as they call it. It's interesting. It's a choice.
What are we currently at with subs if the goal is 4,000? Like how far are we?
Not far. We need I'd say we're at 65% of that. We can get there.
Okay. What was it before the opener or before camp?
You know, I didn't listen to that. We'll need to refine the details before I sign
yeah.
the name on the dotted line on this one. Peter will he'll finagle it into whatever he wants out of me on that. Shamar, nice suit. I like that. I hear the Giants are coming up. And I think we probably know for who. It's about to get spicy.
Spicy. Yeah, that is. I like that green on Shamar. It's a nice looking coat.
Yeah, these guys have come decked out. Looks like an insane crowd in Green Bay. Question about who we oh, so no trade happened. Okay. Seahawks are picking. Interesting.
To make a pick? Oh, okay.
They need some O-line help. Bad. Simmons would make sense here. I am very interested in tackle quarterback at 36 and 33. That's where I'm at early. I don't know where you are. Obviously, need to see how these last 12 picks play out, but that's my early hunch.
I can see. I mean, I think again, cop out. I think it's see how the board falls. If there's a quality tackle, I would think yes, or one that they think is quality enough. Yes, But if there's not, I mean, I kind of think a running back could definitely be a hit there. Gray Zabel, okay.
Gray Zabel, your guy.
Yeah.
North Dakota State, man, first round picks, they produce them. Their track record's impressive now.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least the athletes. I mean, obviously Trey Lance didn't pan out. Carson Wentz up and down, and then who's a wide receiver? I can't think of. Christian Watkins. Yeah, I think that's right.
Watson.
Yeah, Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Hasn't really been able to overcome injuries enough, but program does produce the NFL talent. We're getting close to some very important picks. A ton of activity, said Jordan Schultz. Bottom of this draft with teams looking to trade down. A couple quarterback needy teams are making calls. We might know one.
Yeah. Two.
But I think that's a good pick for Seattle. Makes plenty of sense for them.
Yeah, their line was struggling last year.
Yep. Did Trevor Penning go to North Dakota State? I don't think Penning went to school there.
No,
I think he went to another FCS.
Thinking in Wisconsin. Oh, Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa. FCS.
Who also produces some good talent.
Another dome team. Yeah, another dome team.
Yep. Gray Zabel. All right, best available on the board. Let's update that. Will Johnson, Michigan corner. Zade Barron. So 2 corners still on the board. Jahad Campbell, Mike Green, edge for Marshall. Malachi Starks, Josh Simmons, Shador, James Pierce, Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden still available. Marion Hampton, Derek Harmon, Connerly, Donovan Ezeraku. So some good talent for these last few slots coming up. Browns are going to have some players there at 33 and 36 that could start for them, no doubt. I would imagine, Alec, the vibes at that concert, not great. Sounds like one of the minor league teams in Cleveland were playing, and the Bucks are picking, by the way. And they announced the pick, and the crowd booed the pick, and the announcer had to be like, "Don't shoot the messenger." So I don't think this one's going to be received well by the Browns audience.
Yeah, I think the energy at the stadium dropped significantly after the trade, or when the trade was announced.
Bucks could easily take one of these corners.
Yeah, I'm thinking corner. Like Buka.
To the Bucks?
Yeah.
Wow. That is not a team that has that link, but interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I got buddies I played with at Muskingum who were
I
big
liked him.
Tampa
Him
guys.
and
A lot of Florida guys came up to school.
to Muskie, really?
You know, a lot
All
of Florida
places.
guys. Stunned as I could be about that development.
I remember we stayed at like a Radisson before playing Muskie one year. Had a pool, indoor pool that had carpet around it.
That checks out. You're probably in like Cambridge or Zanesville.
Yeah.
Because they didn't build a hotel in
Zanesville.
Concord until we left. I think it happened like 5 years ago or so. So, yeah.
Yeah, like it
Just
was like a
some
Ramada or something
outdated
like that. Yeah, it was.
These guys
It
got
was
to stay in
weird. It was
hotels.
weird.
Never got that, man.
You were always a day of travel. Well, you're kind of in the middle. You're in the middle of the state, though. Kind of makes it easy.
We stayed at a hotel one time. We went up and played Defiance in the northwest corner, but that was it. Budget was tight, Scott. We didn't have that Shula money running around. All right.
Yeah. What's the name of the track there?
Local professor. I mean, Muskingum actually did pretty well in terms of like alumni. I mean, John Glenn, and then like Jack Hanna, like most famous zoo names ever. Was a Muskingum guy. They've actually done really well. They've been doing better.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. They built a really beautiful athletic complex up on the hill there. You have to see it sometime. It's actually really jarringly nice. Indoor full turf field, whole thing. It's really, they've done a nice job using the money that we left for them. Broncos at 20. They're sticking to nobody's trading. So the Steelers are going to have their pick of quarterback if they want it. Woo! Will the Steelers make another Kenny Pickett type selection? A Mecca. I wonder who the Broncos go with. This will be interesting. Sean Payton, year 2. More weapons. A little running back weapon, maybe?
Year 3.
Is year 3 for him?
You say Bo Nix, Sean Payton?
Mm-hmm.
For Payton, yeah. Bo Nix, year 2. Or he had Russell the first. He hated his quarterback his whole first year there. Yeah, I'm thinking running back.
Yep.
But I also just said corner to Tampa, and they went the complete opposite direction. So
yeah, I did not see them taking a wide receiver. Bucks like to score points.
You need to score points.
Any update on the next pick? Because I have not seen anything. Just hammering food. That's all I'm doing over here, guys. Hopefully it's not bothering everybody too much. But we are consuming food. Giants have been trying to trade into round 1. That's the word. But we don't have a pick yet. But maybe right here. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
No super. I'm not a hot wing person. I can't do it. Too spicy, man. Not for me. I am tame on that. Man, very quiet around this one. Maybe they are moving it.
It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, we're down to a minute 40.
What you doing, Denver? Maybe they'll take Dart and Milrow at the top of the second. Battled out.
It's watching a like an Aaron Rodgers free fall recap earlier, and 49ers took Alex Smith that year, obviously, and they were saying that if he got all the way to the top of the second, they were going to take him. Like, there's no shot that was going to happen.
No,
but I mean, I guess you can have that conversation after the fact.
Yeah, of course you can. That's funny. Because Kirk was a 4th round pick when they took RG3, right? I think that's what he was.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe later, but for 4 sounds right.
Boy, this one is incredibly quiet. It says the pick is in. The Broncos are taking another corner. Za'Dai Barron. So they're taking the Texas corner. Is that the first corner we've seen go, other than theoretically Hunter?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's some word that Chris Godwin's ankle didn't heal right. So they had to have a second surgery on that. That would make a little more sense for the Ibuka pick. All right. Pittsburgh pick is fascinating. Very interested to see where they go. They could go D-line. That Broncos defense is going to be tough. Do we avoid the Broncos this year? I hope they do. I think they do. Unless if they play that division, but they wouldn't do that. No, they avoid Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a crossover.
Boy, if they take Shador here, big ripple effect in the division, my friend. The Broncos made calls to move up, made calls to try to move out in front of Pittsburgh and move around, but they couldn't. They ultimately just took Barron. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was hearing they were like, I feel like the only team I was hearing both ways trying to trade. I mean, I think they would have sounded like they would have wanted to move up for potentially for a tight end, one of the tight ends, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, this is the pick. We might head out after this pick. We'll see. I got my kid was in a play tonight, so I want to hear how that went. And then we'll have a lot of coverage tomorrow and podcasts. So I think just a heads up to everybody, we will probably cut it out after this pick for a couple reasons. But I'll be live throughout tomorrow too. So we can have that as a group. No word yet on the Steelers. Harmon, someone said?
Nothing.
No, I promise you not a rough night. Promise. We could keep going. But
Who
I
said
do
that?
want to hear how my Nathan did. My kiddo is here and I'd like to hear how all that went and all of that. So spend a little bit of time with him before he goes to bed. So that's probably what we'll do. Rest of the staff getting a little tired, I think. Cody couldn't come through. Let's see what goes here. If they do make a trade to come back up, I promise to go live again. How's that sound? Is that a fair deal for everybody? If they make a trade to come back up, I will jump on here and talk with you guys again. All right.
Pick is in.
I'm not seeing it. They did go Harmon. Okay. Well, quarterbacks are sitting there.
Wow. Okay.
Well, how about this? Let me do this. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to stay live, but I'm going to take a quick break. All right. Quick break. Scott's got to run. I am going to see if there's a.
I'm getting out. Yeah.
Yep. Scott's got to run. And then I think I can put something up here that says that we will be right back. Let me do this real quick. So we're going to do a 10-minute break. Stay with us, everybody. Stay with us. We'll come back because there's a lot of quarterback buzz I would still like to be on. So Scott and I will be right, or I will be right back. So hang loose. All right. Hang loose, my friends. We shall return. Scott, I'll catch you later. All right, check back in. Thanks for hanging out. If you were hanging out, we see. Let's cover the picks that have come and gone since we checked away. So we saw Harmon go to the Steelers. Then you see the Chargers take Marion Hampton, which is a bit of a surprise. So that one's a bit of a surprise at 22. Then we get into pick 23, where we see. Let me pull up an actual tool that would be effective for this type of discussion. Matthew Golden. So we have the Packers taking their first wide receiver in the first round since 2002, Javon Walker. Then the possible trade back spot there with the Vikings at 24. They go Donovan Jackson, so that's a good pick for them. And then we see the biggest move of the night outside of the Browns, obviously, is the Giants coming back up into the first round. And that pick, let me make sure I read that to you guys right here. The pick involves giving up 34 and 99 for also a 2026 third to move up into the first. And the Giants, so I think a lot of us thought we're going to take Shador, end up taking Jackson Dart. So surprise to see Dart go there. Pretty surprised considering what we thought, what could possibly happen with the connection with Shador. Okay, so let's look at the next few picks coming up. So we're going to see the Rams and the Ravens both probably, I think the next three teams kind of favor defense with the Lions. I think Washington's a sneaky wide receiver destination, a sneaky running back destination. But yeah, I definitely don't think we're going to see any other quarterbacks go unless someone trades up for them. So we'll keep it on the book here. So LA, let's see, the Rams. Simmons is a player, so they could use some offensive tackle help. They could go Jihad Campbell. They could go Maxwell Harrison. So yeah, that's a spot to pay attention to. The best available, let me share this with you guys. All right, so your let me see here. There we go. Our best available, if I'm looking over here, in terms of guys that are still on the board, a lot of defense. That's the problem here. A lot of defense. Like you got Luther Burden and some running backs like Travion Henderson start to pop up, but it's a lot of defense on this board. Will Johnson, Jihad Campbell, Mike Green, Starks, Amanawari, Pierce. You do have Simmons and Sanders, but again, Shavon Ravel. Looks like, okay, Atlanta just came up is what I'm seeing somebody say. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of defense best available. That's where it gets tricky if you trade out and you're picking up extra picks. So, we'll see what happens there ultimately. But yeah, that's a spot that is interesting for sure. Jackson Dart gone officially. So we have, let me see here. So the Falcons are moving back into the first round of the Rams. We'll see what that trade looks like. Falcons might be after. Falcons are after maybe more edge. Maybe they could double up on edges. They could take Mike Green here or Pierce. They could take Jihad Campbell for linebacker help because their linebacker situation is interesting to say the least. But they could also really like Will Johnson because their cornerback room could use some help. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I mean, Atlanta will probably have to give up something pretty significant to move up here. Be interested in what this trade looks like. So the Falcons trade 40. Whoa! The Falcons trade 46 and 242 and a first rounder in 2026. to go up to 26. That is insane. Wow. I don't even know what to say about that. The Rams did well. Rams did well. Picking up a first next year. Wow. They must love whoever's here to give up. Oh my goodness, man. Here is the official look at the trade. This is a long play by the Rams. So they'll get that 2026 first. They also gave up something in this initial spot too. So, whoo, that's spicy. I feel like the Rams did pretty well. Boy, that is something. We'll see who they take. I mean, I have to think they're coming up for Campbell or either Campbell or man, I would have loved that pick. And Terry Fontenot. They coming up for Will Johnson? I don't know what they're coming up for. They're coming up for Pierce. Is the pick James Pierce? Wow. So they're taking 2 edge rushers. They took who earlier? Michael Williams earlier, if I remember correctly. Yep. So they're trying to fix their pass rush in one draft with a big swing. Oh, boy. So the Ravens, who are probably loving the safety options on the board, will be next. I mean, that pick, there's a chance that pick from Atlanta is a better first round pick for LA than Cleveland's for, the Jacksonville situation. So just saying, never know on that stuff. Ravens, Malachi Starks, they could use edge help. They like Mike Green or they like Nick Amanawari. Those would be my 3 guesses. Amanawari, I'll go 4 names. Ezeriku, the edge from Boston College. Amanawari, the safety from South Carolina. Starks, Georgia safety, or Pierce is gone, then it would be Mike Green is the other one potentially. That is the early hunch. But there could be more trades. The end of this first round could get pretty wild. All right. Yeah, that's a move, man. I mean, Pierce was kind of like a player a lot of teams viewed as one of the top edge rushers coming into this year. So, I mean, I could see being in love with him, but he's really pass rush only. That's really it. I don't know. All right. So, like I said, Ravens have some good options. Atlanta, 2 straight crazy drafts for them. I can't believe they gave up for an end of the first round player, a future first round pick. I just find that one to be wild. Any questions you guys have still as we close down here? Don't be afraid to throw those in. I can try to answer those. Okay. I haven't seen anything on the Ravens yet. It's kind of been very, very quiet reactionally to that one. So the question about Shador being there, I mean, I think you guys would agree with me that it just comes down to if they like him more than Jalen Milroe, right? Like, that's the question. We're going to find out the answer to that the way it's trending right now. So I think I would take Shador, but I understand the appeal to Milroe. I understand it. I think it's more important to come away with 2 wide receivers or 2 running backs. I don't think it's likely to come away with 2 wide receivers. I think they'll go after 1. I don't think 2. I think they like their top 2 guys. They want to see what Jamari Thrash has. Still like some of what the depth in that room has provided, but I do think they want 1. So I think that's going to happen, but 2 running backs feels more likely. Pick 33 right now. I mean, it'd probably trend towards Shador at this point. I think it would. To me, I think that's where it trends at this point until he's gone. Enjoying the odds to pick a quarterback in the second round. They're very high, John. They're very high. I mean, at this point, 33 and 36, they're taking 1. What do we do with the early 2 picks tomorrow? There's a chance they can move around a little bit with one of those, but I do think one of those both could be served offensively. Offensive tackle, Ariante Ursary. If Josh Simmons is still there, if Josh Connerly is still there from Oregon, I think those are guys that they could be looking at. Campbell at 36, JOK uncertain. It's possible. I don't know that they want to go that early for a linebacker who's coming off of his own surgery right now. And it's unclear whether he'll be able to go at the start of the year, but there's definitely a hyper talented football player there that your team would get better by selecting. So certainly possible. 33 is where I think they take the quarterback. That's where I think. Yeah. So that's it. All right. Do we have any idea what the Ravens are doing? Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I still 2 straight years of Falcons draft decisions that have left you saying that. What on earth? I guess that's another good one to consider, Matt, is that they could love a safety at the top of that second round too. You know, it's ironic. You need all this help on offense and potentially come away with 2 of your top 3 being on defense. But we got, if he doesn't go or you Malachi Starks, I think he does go. I think he's going to go in the next few picks. Well, actually take that back. He's going to the Ravens at this spot. So there you go. There you go. The Ravens get Malachi Starks, which is a good fit for them. Starks with Kyle Hamilton is a really disgustingly talented secondary. So, yeah, that's a lot. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. All right, so we're at pick 28. We'll be up with the Lions, Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles. See what these teams do with the top players on the board remaining. Will Johnson, Jahad Campbell, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, Shador Sanders, Nick Manawari, Luther Burden, Devin Izaraku, Josh Connerly, Shavon Ravel, Nick Scouterton. A lot of talent still there. Will Johnson still available? Yep. Some concerns about the knee is what we've been told is why teams are passing on him. And again, turf toe last year that caused him to miss a bunch of games. They had a hamstring issue around the combine and pro day stuff. Anyone else straight up into the first? I would be surprised. I can't think of any other team in that top of the second range that would be curious. Let's check here. Maybe I guess the Saints could. 37 is the Raiders, who are possible, but I don't think they want to do that. Geno extension and all of that. Like, I mean, you're looking 34 Texans set, 35 Titans set, Raiders not likely, 38 Patriots set. 39, Bears set. 40. So 40, the Saints. That's the only spot realistically, without giving up a future first round pick, I guess, that we could see a movement happen there. Because even after that, it's like Colts and Cowboys and 49ers, and there's not another team. So it could be the Browns have their choice of Shador or Milroe. That's probably the biggest question that is looming. I guess I should take that banner down since I've been here, been back for a little bit. That's probably the biggest looming question. Okay, so we got Starks. Let me see here if we can figure out the Lions pick early. Let's see, what do the Lions need? I know they want more pass rush. So a lot of the edge guys, but they're interested in maybe an interior player. Yeah, they have Marcus Davenport, and Aiden Hutchinson coming off a knee injury. So I wonder if Ezaraku's interesting to them here, or Scourton from A&M is interesting to them here. Mike Green also interesting to them here. Yeah, right. Could be any of those. Sorry, my voice is giving out on you guys. It's rough. We're battling over here. Battling. Okay, we don't have any idea yet, but we're going to get through the end of this first round together. And then I'll do a pod where I will cover the best options for tomorrow. Promise you. Lions are interesting. Could they take an offensive player here? I don't think. Maybe a sneaky wide receiver spot if they really like Luther Burden, maybe. Let's see here. Yeah, it is a good pick for the Ravens, no doubt. Draft seems to just fall their way. It's weird how that works. So the Lions pick is in. Bills have a lot of good corners sitting there waiting for him. Okay. Don't see anything on this pick yet. As soon as I see, or one of you, I'm going to try to start right away tomorrow, Matt. That's a good question about what time we're starting. Yeah, that's going to be right at 7. Available to jump in. So we'll do that because those 2 picks will happen immediately. Let's see here. It's all quiet on the Lions front. Man, the Browns need offense, and they're just not. I mean, as it's sitting right now, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it is Luther Burden early, and then they try to take Shador, maybe or Milroe and one of the next 2 picks. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. Okay. If anybody sees the Lions pick, which has been sort of out there for a minute, as in I have not seen social media put anything out on it yet. All right. All right. Anything? Nothing. All right. Well, best case scenario for the 2 picks tomorrow. I mean, at this point, with like best players available, I mean, if you could get Luther Burden in your quarterback of choice, that to me feels like a really good outcome for needing help at the skill positions. That's just me. That's just me. Those are my two ideal picks right now. But I also could see them loving a tackle and end up going that route too. If they love Connerly or somebody like that to pair there, that would be an interesting one too. So it does look like I see Tyleik Williams, Ohio State, is going to be the pick for the Lions. So good pick for them. Their defensive tackles, Ali McNeil, who's tough. Then DJ Reader, Levi and Wazaraku, like they're talented in that spot, but a pretty good pick. No, Kevin, good question. Does a quarterback in the second round this year prevent you? I don't think so in the slightest, man. I think it's you pick one until you get the right one, right? I mean, I certainly think you want to see that guy play a little bit, but I do know that they got to keep looking for the one they love, and they clearly don't love any of them at this point. But Tyleik Williams to the Lions is it's a good fit. They're going to keep loading up that defensive line. I like that. The Mike Green fall is very real for the talent that player has. So we'll see if he lands with the Eagles. Wouldn't be a surprise at all, would it? Let me drink some water here, guys. We're fighting. Okay. Yeah, Tyleek's good spot. So now we have up. Let's see here. Commanders, a potential spot to trade if somebody was interested in the sort. So the Commanders' most commonly mocked players, both edge guys. There's Enrique, Mike Green, Scourton at the top. Running back kind of fit in there too. And then if they wanted to get more wide receiver help for Terry McLaurin, I know they made the Debo Samuel move and they like Luke McCaffrey, but they could take a wide receiver here too. Running back, wide receiver, edge rusher. See what they do. Yeah, the Will Johnson medicals must be really awful. Really awful because they could use more corner help, in Washington too. Okay. Commanders up. If you guys see the pick, don't be afraid to let us know. Yeah, the top three on the board, definitely Will Johnson, Mike Green, Jihad Campbell, Josh Simmons, Shador, Burden. Yeah, those are the top ones. Amanda Worry, Connerly. Yep. Before you get into the tight ends of interest. Interesting to see who the Commanders take here. Bills will be a DB. I'm almost positive the Bills will go DB. I mean, it feels like I guess they could go defensive line, but there's not any of the guys like Tyleek gone now too. It doesn't feel like interior D line is a place they'll go. So, I just feel like they need another corner. And at that point, you just almost have to swing on him. Yeah, these last four. Commanders pick is in. Let's see what route they go. All right. Connerly, that's a bummer. That's the tackle I would have wanted. Fire off a tweet about it. But Simmons is talented too. He's still there. There's some stuff about the knee rehab and all that. But he's a very talented player. Ooh. So Bills and then the Chiefs and the Eagles. I don't know if we'll see any other trades to wrap this thing up, guys. Yeah, it appears the medicals with Simmons are being flagged. There's no reason a guy that talented shouldn't be there. Still some interesting picks to be made here. Chiefs are definitely interested in tags. So Simmons to the Chiefs would make sense. Also Ariante Ursary connection there would make sense if they're looking at tackle because they're slated to start Jalen Moore right now because they have moved Kingsley Suamatia inside to guard. So that is where it gets a little interesting. We'll see what they do. Okay. So Connerly's gone. These last three picks are going to take forever to stretch out their coverage. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. Let's see. All right. The Bills pick is not listed as in. Yeah, Will Johnson's knee must be pretty rough. Must be pretty rough. Right. I have heard that they are he's in that tier of later guys that they'd be interested in there, Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. Yep. Okay. What are the Bills doing? Their pick still isn't in. Yeah, the Commanders now with so they got Tunzel. and then they'll start. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting because Connerly was definitely a left tackle at Oregon. So moving him over to the right will be fascinating. See how that goes for him. Boy, my eyes are bloodshot. You guys hanging with me? Tired? There's still 100 of you here, which is pretty damn cool. Bill's pick is in. I am hanging by a thread. I am going to try like hell to be on tomorrow, guys. The goal is at 7. At least try to get through those first few picks with you guys. Question, would you try to make all 4 picks? And yeah, I think they need to, Corey. I do. Yeah. I think they need to make them. I don't think they're in a spot to move anymore. You got yourself another first next year. I would be making picks, man. I would be making picks. Right. So let's see if we can figure out who the Bills are taking. What do you guys think? Who the Bills taking? I think they're going corner. I could be wrong on this. The Chiefs could go corner too. Yeah, sure. Trey McDuffie, but Christian Fulton and some of that is dicey. All right. Still don't have an idea yet, even though it's listed as in. If anyone sees it, let me know. All right. I don't think the Browns are going to move. I think they're content with what's going to be there at 33. I think that the next 2 picks get made between the Bills and Chiefs. The Eagles is the one that is moderately interesting. So the Eagles have actually moved up. So there you go. The Eagles moved up to 31 with KC. So that is definitely noteworthy. They're on the clock at 31. I just don't know do you guys know who the Bills picked? I have no idea who the Bills picked. So I actually don't think we're going to see any trade tonight. I thought the Eagles Browns trade connection would be the most logical one. This is weird. This is the first time I've seen TV have the pick before anybody on the insiders had it. That's wild. So the Bills are taking Maxwell Hairston. This is not a total surprise. A guy that some people thought could be a first round. So this second round is going to have a couple first round talents. Like if you're looking at big boards, Will Johnson, unless the Eagles are going after Jihad Campbell or something like, I mean, just guys inside the top 32 of big boards that I follow. Will Johnson, Jihad Campbell, Mike Green, Josh Simmons, Shador Sanders, Nick Manawari. The Browns want safety help. Luther Burden, Devin Ezraku, all available. Okay. If we look at Dane's top 100, guys still available in his top 100. Mike Green is his 10th ranked player, still available. Jihad Campbell is his 14th ranked player, still available. Will Johnson, his 18th ranked player, still available. Nick Manawari, his 17th ranked player, still available. Josh Simmons, his 20th ranked player, also still available. Donovan Ezraku, that's 22nd ranked player, available. Luther Burden, his 27th ranked player. and that looks to be inside the top 32. That's it. He has Shador at 34, Mason Taylor at 33. So, I mean, from a consensus big board angle, we'll see who these last two picks go, what route these go, but these options are going to be abundant for them. So it looks like Shador will be out of the first entirely. Interesting. We got an idea on this pick yet? So the Eagles go from 32 to 31 and they give up pick 164 to do it. I mean, that's good for the Chiefs. No doubt about that. Jihad Campbell. Yeah. Makes plenty of sense. They can be patient with him. Yeah. It's a typical guy sort of stumbling to the end of the first round selection for the Eagles. Yeah. Yep. So Philly gets another good one out of the SEC. So Campbell's off the board. I wonder if the Chiefs go tackle here. I mean, Simmons makes a ton of sense for them here if they can stomach whatever it is logging him down, whether it's the recovery from the injury, off the field concerns, whatever that looks like. It makes a lot of sense. One more pick, gang. And then, like I said, we'll be live at 7. I'll go as long as I can. I'll hopefully feel better tomorrow in general, but certainly will go as long as I can and cover it. If I can't talk much, then I will cover it. But yeah, do as best I can. The eyes are heavy. All right. So Chiefs. Wait, interesting. I mean, they could definitely take an edge if they wanted to. More pass rush for them wouldn't be the worst thing in the world here. But I do think they really would not. I mean, Simmons is just such an organic fit for them. I mean, I guess they could go Luther Burden. There's Xavier Worthy, Marquise Brown, Rashee Rice. So yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Always looking for weapons in the passing game. We'll see. If you guys know the pick, let me know. All right. We've made it tonight. Only a small break, but we made it. So Brian, a lot of this is the 5th-year option's not as valuable as it used to be, kind of pre-cap adjustments. So the 5th-year option is like an extremely high number, like 36, 37 million. So there's just not Everything I've read, everything I've gathered, there's just not as much value to doing that as there used to be when you could get a more affordable rate out of that in the previous structure of the CBA. So that is why I gather teams have not flipped. So that's what I know. Good players available at the top tomorrow. So we will cover that for you right away. I still don't have any idea what the Chiefs pick is quite yet. We still haven't even announced the Philly pick, so this one's probably going to get drug out a bit. But I feel like if we knew a trade was happening, we would have heard a little bit about it by now, is my guess. Anyone? First to report it gets a free Browns film breakdown t-shirt. First to tell us who this pick is. You gotta message me on Substack about it. First person to tell me who the Chiefs pick and get it right, you get a free t-shirt. Again, you have to message me on Substack about it. Got that? What are the Chiefs going to do? Peter, good question. I am lukewarm on it. I would have preferred Travis Hunter. I don't think they did bad with the trade. I also think the player Mason Graham is fun too. I don't have a problem with who they selected. I just would have been happier with Travis Hunter at that spot, personally. But we'll see long term how that all shakes out. The Chiefs are staying at 32, expecting offensive line help. So don't have a pick there, but we have offensive line help is what has been noted here. So all quiet. So you guys are shooting answers over here. We still don't know. I will respond to the winner accordingly to the messages being sent over. Man, this one's dragging. The pick's in, but we still don't know who it is. Shador Sanders will not go in round one. Got a lot of guesses coming over in the chat on Substack, DMing me. Let's see. All right. Longest final pick in the history of this league. Boy, they're dragging this out to midnight. Whew. I'm gonna guess they go Simmons or Arion to Ursary. They could go Ursary. It would be that always that one offensive lineman surprise late. Do we have a pick? They took Josh Simmons. The first person to guess Josh Simmons in my DMs was Owen Miller at 11:37. I had Low Smoke said it at 11:38. We had Matt Simmons at 11:39, or sorry, Matt at 11:39 and 11:40 Kevin Reynolds, but it was Owen Miller who got it right. So I will get you a shirt, Owen, and then send it to you. Guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it very, very much. All right. Good to hang out. I will be live for the first part of tomorrow. I'll do the best I can to be live for a lot of it, but, hanging by a thread. We'll do the best we can. Thanks for being here. I love you guys. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll have some content up on Mason Graham on the website tomorrow. And then our look at the best players available. We'll have all that in a podcast for you as well. So appreciate y'all very much. As we always say, I'll catch you tomorrow. Go Browns.